introduce each one of your characters and say who you're playing, give a bit of a physical description, and just sort of say whether you know any of the other characters. Who wants to start?
I'll start. Hi, I'm Callum, and I'm Grace Lamont. So I'll give you a little bit of backstory about this. So I got a voice for her because where are we? Yeah, when she was a small young burglar, she decided to try and steal some jewels from a very, very wealthy man, and she kissed his hand and accidentally swallowed his ring. So now it really messed up her vocal cords, and she sounds like literally like chain smoker that's been smoking every day. So this is Grace Lamont. Hi, sweetheart. My name's Grace Lamont. If you need it, I can get it.
Ooh, you're going to get a lot of this during this game, Scott. I hope you're prepared.
Okay, so who's up next?
I think you should go Harry.
So I'm Harry. I'm playing Joey Guerrero. He's from Brooklyn, New York, and he was a nobody just from a working class family. And he was able to, just after working away every day at a terrible restaurant, he decided to use some of his money to go to a poker game with Grace Lamont. And they were able to use deceivery and manipulation and able to win this tournament. So now Joey Guerrero, he is a feared individual, and I have a voice for him. And it sounds like this. Hey, how you doing? It's Joey. So, yeah, he's intimidated everyone, and he's been invited to the party. Sorry, what was the person's name again?
It's Cicero Mordant.
That's it. He's been invited by Mordant to the party to try and gain Joey's support, and he's also going with Grace, because the plan is Grace wants to steal this invention.
Marvelous. I'm sure that will go flawlessly.
We'll see what happens.
So who's up next?
I guess we should go with Max then. Relation.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you pronounce the surname actually?
Probably McCann.
McCann. Yeah. I guess we'll go. So.
Oh, McMahon. It should be McMahon.
McMahon. Oh yeah, that's it. I changed the first name to Alex. So I'm Alex McMahon. I'm I guess a psychic or something like that from Idaho, and I claim to hear my wife Jen's spirit as my guide, but apparently I can't actually hear the voice or it's departed, but I don't. It's kind of improvised because I didn't get time to actually sort out the character. But I don't know. I don't necessarily have a voice for him yet, but
okay.
It's OAPG.
Yeah. My name is Dr. Jelena Novak. I am a physicist that was born in Sarajevo in Serbia. And I'm going to the party because Cicero Mordant is my character's former fiance, and he stole much of my research.
It's all for you.
Okay. That's a good point. Why is Alex McMahon going to the party? Was he invited? Is he gate crashing?
I don't actually know. I don't know.
Should we make up some random reason that you're there? It's just
You
followed the voices to a party.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the spirit's guided me. There we go.
You could always be going as Dr. Novak's date.
Yeah, that would work.
Well, I changed. Yeah.
Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Well, I changed my character to a male, so that would make him gay. But all right.
But he's playing.
I changed my character back to female.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think a male, but no, I decided against it.
Oh, alright,
So that way,
okay.
you-
Alright,
you're the
I'm going with the physicist. It makes absolutely no sense why I am, but sure.
Alright, so I mean, I've still got me,
So-
I guess, left to do as well. So, I guess while coming from that amazing drawing, I come forth a voice for him yet, but I will come up with one as the scenario goes on. My name's Ernie the Bull Toro. I'm a journalist, and I was born in Winter Harbour in Maine. And the reason I'm going to the party is because I want to write a story about this supposedly amazing invention that's being made. It's apparently supposed to change the world, as I hear. And so,
Yes.
I've been invited to write a little bit of a story on it. And I'm quite weird build, square jaws, got steely eyes. I'm occasionally filled with nervous energy, and I've also got tattoos and scars, which I wear with pride.
Cool.
Awesome.
Fantastic. It's early evening by the time the train gets into Montpellier, and sure enough, there's a whole fleet of limousines that are there picking up the guests. I mean, there's a fair number of fairly welcome men getting off the train and being ushered into these limousines. And the limousine towards which the five of you are being ushered is coincidentally the perfect size to fit 5 people. And so the chauffeur opens up the door and helps the 5 of you in, and starts the car up and starts driving you through the Vermont countryside. So those of you who have not met each other before will have a chance to introduce yourselves to each other. What kinds of stories are you telling each other about why you're really there?
Oh, hey Grace, how's it going?
Baby, you know me.
No.
What?
Okay. I look at you like, hey, who are you?
Oh, hello. My name's Grace Lamont. How are you?
Are you alright, man? You seem like you got something caught in your throat.
Well, when I was a little girl, I choked on some things. I'm sorry, it's a bit distracting.
Would it be rude of me to ask what those things were?
Look, sweetheart, we ain't gonna talk about the details, alright?
Okay, why are you here?
Well, I'm going to some said party here, and my friend invited me. He's an old friend from way back.
Way back. Well, that sounds very interesting. Will I get to meet this fine fellow?
Yeah,
Hey Grace, don't tell her about the stories, man. Come on.
I can't help it. It's just so good. It's just so good. All those good times.
Hey, listen here, Andy.
Oh.
If you cross me, you see this pistol is diamond plated.
Ah, I see. It's very nice.
Thank you. I worked hard. It's all my prized possessions.
It's very nice.
So why are you here then? What you coming to this party for?
Well, I've been invited here to have a little scope about the amazing invention, and also I was promised a lot of alcohol. And it's been a while since I last had a drink, so I thought, why not get absolutely hammered while I'm there? So I can't write a good story sober. That's not how I work.
Oh.
Sounds pretty good. So hey you, what's your name?
Oh well, sir, my name's Alex. I'll just go. I can't pronounce his surname, so I'll just go Alex from now on. My name's Alex, sir. I'm what you call a spirit medium from the state of Idaho.
Oh yeah, I know you.
Hey, can you talk to my lost partner? She died in combat.
Okay, not only for a fee. I'm not very rich, as you say, from back when. I live in a trailer park.
I will say she does a very good service. I've used her services before
I'll give
for
you
my great
$10.
What?
I'll give you $10.
10? We'll talk about it. I'm just gonna start doing your accent in a bit. Don't worry. I don't try it. We'll talk about it when we get back. I can't. I had a good one going. I had a good preacher voice, but now I can't do it anymore.
Just to see it.
We'll talk about it when we get back. But you see, sir, I've been hired by this here inventor to protect his I'm sort of spiritual security.
Hey, Grace, we gotta get this one. You can't be stealing our invention.
Yo, I think. Hey, sir, have you got anything valuable on you right now?
Do I look like a man with valuables? I'm wearing robes.
I take what you got. Anyway, who here is your friend?
My name is Dr. Jelena Novak. And I'm going to this party to see what my former fiancé stole of my research.
Oh, hey, look at this. We got a cute one here.
I got a chance for Russian now. I forgot Russian voice. So.
Yeah. Alright. So what setting are we in now? Are we still in the train?
Sorry, what was that?
Are we still in the train station?
No. This is having this conversation in the car, driving through the countryside.
Oh, okay.
So you drive through the small town of Montpellier. You're driving through some fairly nice countryside, around the edge of the Mad River Valley. Through some pine forest and up towards the base of Mount Ellen. Those of you who have been to the Mordant estate, known as the Mount, know that it's built to just towards the base or just above the base of the mountain. And sure enough, the car drives you through a couple of country roads. Then it turns onto a private road that moves up through some woodland, and it's moving up and up as it does so, and eventually it crests on a sort of plateau.
For some reason
Yep.
it's cut out again.
Oh shit.
Oh, it's back now. Right.
I've been quiet.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
It's just my.
Can
They made a
you hear me all right?
slight connection thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what was the last thing you heard?
I heard that we were driving in a car. It cut out.
Around the countryside. and
All
then
of that description has been lost.
I got to the bit where it's like a mountain, and then it just sort of glitched
Yeah.
a bit.
I've got control
I'm
of
going
it.
to switch to
So-
mobile
so-
data. I don't care if it burns my data.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so the car has turned onto a private road that is driving up through a bit of woodland, or some fairly thick pine woodland, and it's driving up towards the foothills of the mountain. And it eventually crests and reaches a plateau, and the plateau is where the Mount, the Mordant estate, is built. You can see a number of structures. There is the main house itself, which is a fairly grand two-story building. There's light and sound spilling out of it, and the sound of a party in full thrust. There are outbuildings, a number of outbuildings. There's one in particular that it looks like a number of the chauffeurs are going into. Though perhaps the most interesting thing, or at least the most unusual thing, is the structure that you pass just as the car comes up to where all the other cars are parking. There is this building, not this building, but a structure that looks like a combination between a radio mast and maybe a lighthouse. It's weird. It's about 100 feet tall. It's made of metal and wood, and in the light that you've got there, and you can see that there is some kind of platform at the top, and some structure that does look bizarrely like a lighthouse with aerials bristling out of it. The car swings around and drops you at the entrance to the main building. You can see that on the outside of the main building there are more aerials poking out from the corner of the building. There, I mean, there is the sound of a band playing somewhere, and the doors to the main building are open. There's a couple of maids in uniform who are welcoming people in and showing them inside. What are you doing?
Well, I'm just admiring the structure of the building as we are going towards, and looking at the art of detail, making notes down to include in my article.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is unusual.
I'm looking for entrances, X-ways, and all the shit I can steal.
Well, obviously the main entrance is the main entrance where people are being ushered in. There are probably other entrances and exits around the building. There's any number of windows around, but a number of them are shuttered at this time of year. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to get in and out of them. It just means that it'd be a bit more work.
Well, a brick can soon sort that one out.
Oh boy.
So are you heading into the party? Are you or are you doing anything else before you do that?
Hey, do you guys want to go in? Are you guys want to go in? I can smell the booze from here.
I guess we could head in.
Yeah.
Joey, hold my hand. I want this to look real cute.
All right, Grace. I mean, we gotta make a good couple. Gotta fool him.
29 and you sound 50.
Oh, one thing I will mention as well is that the sky has been fairly dark and overcast as you've been coming here, and as the car drives up, there is now some snow falling. I mean, there's snow on the ground anyway, but it seems to be starting to snow again now.
Snow, what a perfect setting.
Hey, the atmosphere is great. I love it.
Me too. You know, I feel like you and I could get along quite well.
I don't know. You're a reporter. I don't take kindly to reporters.
Oh, don't worry. I only report on those I don't like. So as long as you and I get along, you've got nothing to worry about.
Report those you don't like means report a lot of people.
All right. Let's head inside. Come on.
I'm freezing.
I mean, I did say I was wearing robes, so I might as well head in.
Yes.
I think I might change to a linen suit because my god, I don't know what mystics wear, so I just went with the first thing I thought would be decent.
Okay, so if you're heading into the party, there's a couple of uniformed maids at the door who will take your coats. And one who ushers you in towards the main ballroom, which is just around the corner from the main entrance. If you head in there, there is a party in full swing. I say a party. There's a band playing, and there are a number of guests. A couple of whom are making a bit of an attempt at dancing. But it's not exactly unbridled excitement. There are. Sorry, have we just lost someone?
No, it's fine.
No.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's me actually. I'm getting connection issues.
Okay.
It's always me.
Max, if you've got data, just use data.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have that much. So.
Just wait for it to reconnect.
We'll fill you in.
Why do
Oh, there we go. It's back.
Okay.
There we go. It just happens every once in a while.
Okay. Well, inside the party, there's.
He's back now, Scott. I think we're good to go.
I did.
He was ready to continue.
Oh, has he? No, cut out.
Oh.
Okay.
The wonders of technology, eh?
Yeah.
Doesn't help that like 6 or 7 people are using the internet at once.
Well, I'm using 4G.
Yeah, you cut out, so...
Meanwhile, I'm the only one who seems to have fine connection.
I have a connection.
So do I, but I'm using the machine that does everything.
Okay, it's fine now. Right, we're back.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. All right. So there are a few dozen guests in there. I mean, the party's not exactly packed. But I mean, you can tell just looking around the crowd. I mean, particularly those of you who are good at such things, at assessing people, you can tell that maybe what the guest list lacks in quantity, it perhaps makes up for in quality. I mean, there do seem to be a number of fairly wealthy or influential people here. There's a stage that's been set up on one side, and there's a small swing band playing on it at the moment. There's also something, some structure or something that's been covered by dust sheets on the edge of the stage. And you can see, as I mentioned, there were aerials on the outside of the building. You can see that there is what looks like a thick electrical cable or something coming out from these structures and going into the wall where these aerials were. There are servants going through the crowds, handing out glasses of champagne or stronger drinks to everyone, and trays of canapes. There are people, trying to chat over the sound of the band. What are you doing?
I look for the closest source of alcohol that I can find.
Okay, well, yeah. As I said, there are definitely trays of champagne going past, but if you collar one of the servers, they can very easily get you something stronger.
I'm gonna go. Okay.
Excuse me, could I get your most strongest liquor that you have, please?
Oh, God.
Make it snappy.
Yeah, the man gives you a somewhat snooty look and says, I'm sure we can find something, sir. Then scurries off.
Good.
I automatically going around and start trying to deceive people with my mystic abilities, showing them my gem and trying to get them to tune into my weekly show and basically scam them out of all their money.
Well, I mean, as you're looking around, I mean, there's a middle-aged man. He's fairly squat and balding. There's something toad-like about him, but he's wearing a nice-looking suit. He's got a cigar in one hand, and he sees you scanning the crowd, and he walks up to you with a big grin, and says, "Let me guess, you're in show business. You've got that look of glamour about you."
Well, am I the one being spoken to?
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, sir, I'm what you call a spirit medium. I talk to all your yeah. Oh, in that moment, sorry, I can't help but stutter sometimes. I see the spirits, and I can talk to any. If you got a dead relative that I would hopefully be able to communicate with.
Well, well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you speak to the spirits, I mean, could the spirits tell you whether I'm going to win re-election next year? What does the new year hold for me?
Let me.
He says, sorry, I'm very rude. He says, Charlton Billings, and shakes your hand. He says, I'm the senator for this good state.
All right. Oh, what a situation I've got myself into. I take out my crystal pendant and essentially place it in his hat. I place it in his hand and place my hand on top. Look to the ceiling, close my eyes, sort of mutter nonsensical bullshit to myself for a bit, and then say to him, the coming year holds great fortune for you, the spirits say.
Oh, that's good. Well, do tell all your friends in the spirit world to vote for me come November. What do the spirits say about young Cicero's invention? I don't know, but between you and me, from what I hear, it's going to change the world.
Well, I know many spirits, but I don't know many inventors. You see, so I'm not entirely sure. But I have been hired for essentially. I've heard that he's a bit of a what's the word? Paranoid man, and I've been called here to basically provide spiritual security.
Really? Oh, well, you must know the Reverend Knight.
Oh yes, I have psychically been there many a time.
Yes, of course. Well, yes, but I must be going. But yes, as I said, do let me know if the spirits tell you anything interesting. Particularly about this invention. I mean, it's going to change the world, you know.
I will be sure to get back to you when I know.
And with that, he wanders off. So who else is working the crowd in any way?
Alright, here we go.
Yo, Joey, it's time to mingle. Let's go.
Oh, boy, you got it, Grace. Right, I'm gonna walk up to the wealthiest looking man in the room.
Okay. There are two men talking to each other, they're wearing obviously tailored suits, but the quality of the suits sort of screams money. They're very well groomed. They've got expensive looking signet rings. Everything about them says money.
Okay.
And the two of them seem to be talking quite happily to each other. And look up as you come over, perhaps with a slightly cautious eye.
Hello, gentlemen. Quite a fun party here, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It's quite an interesting party so far. It's a very eclectic guest list. What is it you do, young lady?
Well, me and my partner have come here to have a little look at things because he's quite, how to say it, interested in all of these new shiny toys coming out, you know?
Hey, how you doing? My
Oh,
name's
yes.
Joey.
Yeah. Oh, as soon as you mentioned the shiny toys, what you're here to see Cicero's invention, are you? It's from what I hear, it's going to change the world, you know.
Well, I sure hope it does.
Yeah, because this one sucks.
Yes, exactly. So, sorry, you said your friend here is named Joey. What is it you do, Mr. Joey?
Well, let's just say that my work is a bit of a speciality. I don't know if you'd understand.
Oh, I understand a great many things. I make it my business to understand people. What is it that I might struggle to understand about you, Mr. Joey?
Well, let's just say that it's not exactly legal.
But are you one of those former bootleggers? I understand that a lot of the people in that line of work, made fairly good money out of it. And between you and me, a lot of the people in business now set themselves up that way. Every now and then I do some business with Joseph Kennedy, and it wasn't that long ago that he was the most awful crook.
Well, you could say that I'm a bootlegger of sorts.
Well, what line of business have you moved into after Prohibition?
Well, I'm a bit of a poker champion, so I haven't had to do that much work for a while, you know?
Oh, you should always find work to do. Perhaps we can talk about investment opportunities. I'm in the oil trade myself, and sorry, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Arthur Beatty. oils my business, and if you have money that you're looking to invest, we can always talk about options for you. I think this is a great time for people with your kind of background to perhaps make some kind of legitimate legacy for yourself, and if you and your young lady friend here are thinking about starting a family, then yes, you should definitely give them the start in life that they deserve.
Yeah, I'll have a think about it. I'll get back to you on that one.
I think apart from anything else, you should definitely invest in Cicero's invention. It's going to change the world, you know.
Well, we'll see about that. Anyway, nice to meet you.
I shake his hand. Can I do a what do you call it roll?
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand roll. Because I'm going to try and steal the ring on his hand if he has one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it's a signet ring, so it's not it's not going to be that easy to steal. If you're going to try, it's going to have to be a hard sleight of hand roll.
Right.
So you're going to be rolling against half of your normal sleight of hand skill to do so.
While he's doing that, is it alright if I kind of distract him and talk more about my poker days and
Oh yes.
just hint that I'm more powerful than
what am I rolling?
More
2d10.
powerful.
2d10s.
Yeah. Well, if you're getting it, you're getting a distraction offered to you there, then it would be a normal sleight of hand roll, not hard.
Okay, cool. So Callum, the ones that you want to use.
Alright, okay, my sleight of hand is 60. So these ones, yeah?
Yeah, those two.
Yeah, cool. I got. Well, let's roll it one at a time so I know what actually tens and things are. Okay. We got
72.
70. There we go.
Okay.
Which is a fail.
So when you failed like that, you've got three options. One is you can accept the results of the failure and you just failed. Another option is if you can find a way to try what you did again, but perhaps take a bit more risk. So perhaps the ring was sticking a bit, and you're just going to put a bit more welly into it to try to pull it loose. But obviously, if you fail there, it's going to be glaringly obvious what you did. So if you do that, you can have a re-roll. That's what's referred to as a push. The third option is you can spend luck, and what we haven't done yet is we haven't determined how much luck everyone's got. So let's work that out very quickly now.
Okay.
So everyone roll 2d6 and add 6.
2d6 and that's 6.
1,
Yep.
2.
I've got 18.
Okay.
2
So
8. I had a really bad roll.
I've got 11.
Is that one time roll?
So take the result you rolled, multiply it by 5, and that's how much luck you've got.
I'll multiply it by 5, so then that's 40.
Well, I got the highest possible luck, so.
10.
It's 40 instead, so I got a decent roll instead.
Wait, did you say times by 5?
I've got 90
Yeah.
luck.
So have I. I've got 90 because I got the same thing as you.
You got 6 and 6.
I've got 80 luck.
Wait, no, I got 9, 3 plus 6.
Oh, that's what I got.
Yeah, I've got 80 luck to start
Yeah.
off with.
Okay.
Okay. So with that roll that you just failed, you could spend 10 points of luck to turn that into a success. Or, like I said, you could have another try just by, say, trying to really force the ring off. But if you fail, you will get caught in the act.
Well, I may just pass it off and be like, if he questions it, be like, I'm sorry, I have a firm handshake. It's really manly.
I was blessed with my daddy blessed me with these hands.
Well, it's up to you. Are you going for either of those options, or are you just going to accept the fact that you failed?
I've only got a 10% of sway. Oh no.
Adam, what's your sleight of hand skill?
60.
You could spend 10 luck.
Do you really want that ring?
I really want the ring.
Spend it up.
I'm gonna spend 10 luck.
So you're going to spend 10 luck, and
I've
yes,
now got 80
you
luck.
have
Yeah.
you have just managed to steal Arthur Beatty's signet ring. It's a fairly nice gold ring with his family crest on it. So, yes, it's a nice piece.
I'm so glad I've got this. Now I can feed my daughter for 2 weeks.
What's Dr. Novak up to?
I'm just going to look for fellow physicists and talk about physics.
Oh yeah, okay. Scanning around the room, you notice Herman Rucker there. You've encountered him at conferences before. He is a professor of physics at Harvard. He perhaps has a bit more of a legitimate reputation than you have. He perhaps sees physics and the sciences in general in a more down-to-earth and less esoteric way than you do. He's a fairly thin man with oily hair, and he gives you a big grin as he sees you across the room, and waves to you.
I wave back and then go to greet him.
Okay. He says, Dr. Novak, I did wonder whether you'd come. Actually, from what I hear, you and Cicero, you're not together anymore, are you?
No, we're not. He stole most of my research.
Oh, yes, yes, he has always had a roving eye, that man. Yes, but are you certain that he has stolen your research? Is that perhaps the basis of this invention that he is going to unveil tonight? I mean, from what I hear, it's going to change the world.
Yes, I've heard that. I think that's what he stole my research for. That's why I've come to see.
Do you know what exactly it is that he's going to unveil? Then, if it's based on your research.
Not at the moment. My research is private, you see. So I'm not going to tell you anymore.
Well, we must try to find out. I mean, yes, I want to learn everything I can about this invention. I mean, it's going to change the world,
We will see if it will.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said there.
We will see if it will or not.
Sorry, the sound quality's terrible. I can barely make you out. I'm really sorry about this.
Try talking.
We will see if it will or not.
Oh yes. Well, yes, of course, yes. We will see. Yes, we will see. We will see what it is. But it is going to change the world,
Maybe, if he had done it properly.
Yes, but do you know what it is?
I might, but why spoil the surprise?
Yes, you're right. Of course, you're right. Of course. And yeah, he looks bored and wanders off. And what's Ernie doing?
Well, he's just still casually browsing around, just generally walking between in and out of people,
Taking notes.
Taking notes, just admiring, kind of trying to get as much information as he can on what people know. Most of the people he's gone past and asked said they didn't really know anything, and he's still trying to find someone who might know something.
Okay, well, give me a listen roll first of all as you're making your way through the crowd.
Which the D10 count?
What do you want to do? Do you want
I'm doing listen roll.
to? Do you want to?
Yes.
You can do this one.
Yeah.
Roll this one twice.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Roll that twice and see what you get. So the first one is four, and the next one is your tens. Just roll it. So 74.
It's a flop. It's like a fumble. It's a 74 from 20, so it's pretty bad.
So basically, you're tone
So
deaf.
terrible it is.
Yeah, you're tone deaf.
so yeah, I mean, a couple of times you almost but that's the point at which the band, kicks into a new number, and suddenly any chance you had of hearing anything is drowned out by, the world's loudest trombone player.
Well, he was a good trombone player, so I guess it's okay.
But as you're trying to eavesdrop, you do notice that one of the guests there is Edward Lowry, who you've met before, who's the managing editor of the New York Times. He's standing there talking with someone who appears to be a clergyman of some description. He's dressed in a black suit and a black shirt with a dog collar on it. The man he's speaking to is fairly young, intense looking, and the two of them are having sort of clustered together and having what appears to be quite an intense discussion.
Eddie, my boy, it's been a while. I haven't seen you. How's the job doing for you?
He looks up and you can see his face drop, and he says, "Oh, Toro. Who sent you here?
Oh,
you're not working for us again, are you?"
No, not this time. I can't really remember the name. I'm basically partially drunk at this point, so I'm kind of like, they just sent me down here to investigate, to get a story on this invention, but as I saw booze instead, and you know what I'm like when I see alcohol. I mean, I think that's the reason why I got kicked out from that last story I was supposed to do for you.
As soon as he mentioned the invention, Larry looks at you for a moment and says, "Oh, yes, Cicero's new invention is going to change the world,
Oh, I've been hearing that a lot. I really hope it's something that allows me to drink more and get drunk less. No, screw that. Get drunk more. I want to be drunk without the consequences. That's why that'd be great.
Yes, Ernie, I don't think that you need any technology to help you drink more.
I wasn't asking to help drink more. I was asking to help get drunk more. That's what I really want.
Yes. Maybe he's invented some kind of electric liver you can use.
That would be fantastic.
But whatever it is, it's going to change the world,
Oh well, I hope so. I hope so.
He says, "Oh, by the way, have you met the Reverend Nye?" And he introduces the clergyman that he's been talking to. The clergyman sort of looks you up and down a bit, and says, pleasure to meet you, sir. What is it you do?"
Well,
are you a colleague, Mr. Larry?
Well, my main speciality is I'm a journalist. I write some of the best stories that you've seen out there. Like, if you've seen my name in the paper, I even go as Ernie.
You can see out of the say that Larry just shakes his head.
I look at him and go, "Have you not heard of me? I've been the best. I've worked in the New York Times. I was in all the other major posts. I mean, I've been under the ball. That's what I kind of think I like to use from time to time. When I'm writing a special story."
So the Reverend says, "So that means what? You're a reporter. You're not a publisher or an editor. You're a reporter, right?"
Yeah, I report on things like.
Very, very interesting, he says, and turns and walks off.
God, I'm muttering my breath. God, how rude. We'll see.
I mean, you're being completely repugnant at this party. What do you expect?
I've seen movies, I'm not drink it.
One thing all of you will have noticed as you've been working your way through the crowd is that is that you haven't seen any sign of Cicero himself. There's all his guests there, there's the staff there, and so on, but there is no sign at all of your host.
Where is he? I gotta compliment him on his great alcohol choice. I mean,
I do.
it needs to be a bit more. I mean, I wish there was a bit more, but other than that, it's a very good choice.
I do make the attempt to try and look for him, considering I was hired for his unveiling.
No, like I said, there's no sign of him. The only thing you might clock is, I mean, you were told, when you mentioned that you've been hired to look after his sort of spiritual welfare, that someone had mentioned that they thought the Reverend Nye was doing that job, and you certainly can see someone walking through the crowd who is dressed in a black suit and a dog collar.
Sorry, I got distracted. So I've seen this man. So I guess I rush up to him and tap him on the shoulder.
He turns round all of a sudden, quite startled. As his face looks, thunderous. He starts to say something, along the lines of "Take your hand off," and then catches himself, and then suddenly just breaks into a smile and said, "I'm sorry, sir. You caught me by surprise. What is it you want?"
Hi. I sort of stretch out my hand as a gesture for a handshake. Sorry for the rude introduction. My name's Alex McMahon. I am the spiritual medium that this here inventor hired.
Mr. McMahon, I'm familiar with your work. You used to have a radio show, didn't you?
Yes, it doesn't get many viewers today, but it's still going strong.
You do still have it? That's marvellous. Well, I mean, we might be able to talk about finding some way of getting you a better listenership. A man with your talents, clearly deserves a much larger audience. Particularly if you were to see your way fit to using your platform to try to encourage to see the fantastic work that Cicero's doing here tonight. We want to try to get the word of his new invention out to as many people as possible. It's really quite remarkable. Yes. So when about is your next broadcast scheduled? Is it soon?
Sort of looking at him a bit suspicious about how the fact that he's sort of trying to get this invention out. I tend to do one at least once a week. Hopefully in the next couple days.
Fantastic. Then he says, well, let's talk about this. And he puts both hands, one hand on each one of your shoulder, and looks you deeply in the eye, and says, "Yes, we must make sure this happens. Can you give me a power roll, please?"
Which dice is that?
So it's just a straight roll against your power.
So this one here. Okay, so
roll you've got your turns. That's your turns, and that's your units. So you roll both at the same time.
Okay. Oh, got a 9 and a
0. So you got 9.
Yeah. Well,
that's
really good.
That's a hard success. Yeah.
So 0-9, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is he also got an extreme success. But the thing is, as you're defending, your extreme success matters more than his. So somehow against the odds, you've managed to resist this. So just for a moment, as he's looking at you, he's saying things to you in a language that you can't identify. You're not even sure how his mouth is making those sounds. And for a moment, his eyes turn absolutely black. it's looking into them. It's like looking into the very depths of space itself. You can see the stars twinkling way off in the distance, and you can feel yourself falling inside. And it's almost like your mind is being pulled into this darkness, leaving you susceptible to these words. You can feel him trying to convince you somehow, without any language you understand, how Cicero's invention is going to change the world. But then you managed to exert your will enough that you managed to break out of it. Can you give me a sanity roll, please?
Same
poor,
dice.
Same there.
Okay.
poor Alex.
That boy's gonna go crazy!
8 and a 10, so that's 18.
It's 18, isn't it?
Yeah,
So 18, 1-8.
Yeah.
So okay, that sounds like a pass. So you don't actually lose any
Wait,
sanity.
what was your sanity to begin with?
He's fine.
Yeah, he
Okay, so 9. I'm completely fine.
Okay. So no, you don't lose any. It's a what just happened is a shock, but it hasn't unbalanced you at all. So you're managing to keep your shit together. Despite something that's just happened that clearly cannot possibly have happened. What are you doing?
I sort of shake myself like awake, and then I just sort of, I guess, just back away from him and head back into the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, the Reverend Knight is looking at you, and as you're backing away, you can see, first of all, a bit of confusion on his face, and then into anger, and he's looking at you. You can see, the fury building on his face, and just for a moment, it's almost like the air around him ripples in a heat haze.
Well, I just sort of shake my head, rub my eyes, and just walk away and pretending nothing happened.
All right. So I think
So I'm having to rejoin again.
I
Keep getting connection problems on my end.
Okay, let's just give him a chance to
this is
reconnect.
Very annoying.
So as
It's gonna
Alex
take a
walks
while, so
away,
move on to another character,
Oh.
I guess.
so sorry, who did we just lose there?
Max.
Yeah.
We lost Alex. He's rekilled.
Okay,
So someone else will come back to him once he's sorted.
okay,
Oh, he's
I'm back.
He's
There we
back.
go,
Never mind,
finally.
he's back.
okay. So as Alex walks away, looking over his shoulder at the Reverend as he does so, he sort of isn't quite looking at where he's going, and just literally walks into both and Greg.
Wait, he bumps into what? Sorry.
Grace and.
As Grace and Joey are talking, having just fleeced Beatty, that's not really looking where he's going, just walks straight into the two of you and almost knocks you over.
Whoa there! What's going on?
Hey, what you doing?
Oh, I apologize. I just sort of like trying to just sort of get back into reality a second.
Yeah.
I apologize. I need to be somewhere. I just sort of try to blend in with the crowd.
Get out of here, you idiot! Stop crashing into us.
Hey, Joey! Joey, you want to hear a joke?
What?
This invention's gonna change the world, you know? Isn't that funny?
And as you say that, there's a couple of people standing who both look round as you say that, and you're almost in unison looking at you and say, "Yes, it's going to change the world, you know."
Hey, maybe it already is changing. I'll whisper this to you. They sound like zombies.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Joey. This thing looks too big to steal. There's wires going everywhere.
Hey, we can just cut a part off. It's fine. I got my knife.
Am I nearby amongst all of them,
part
or am I still somewhere else?
Sure, yeah. I mean, if you want to overhear things.
Yeah, I'd go over to them. I approach these two. So I approach Grace and her partner. I'm like, hey guys, I'm still kind of drunk. I'm like, hey guys, did you try this? It's brilliant. It's really fantastic. I think you both would love it. And since I want to be good friends with both of you, I want to offer you something. I don't normally offer my alcohol to people, but you guys look so amazing and great in every way that I think you deserve it. And I try to offer it to Joey.
Get out of here! And I just like spill it all over your chair.
Listen here, sweet cheeks. I'm not gonna lie. I don't drink while I'm on the job.
I don't want your alcohol. You could have spiced it with something.
Don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you.
I don't even know who you are.
All right, then I'll just take it back. And I'll just kind of like move away from them a bit, but still stay with the group.
Hey Grace, we gotta find out a way to steal this thing. They keep saying it's gonna change the world. It must be valuable.
Well, the one person quite possibly knows something about it. I mean, you haven't seen any sign of Cicero Mordaunt, but you know from the conversation that you had, or in the car on the way over, and perhaps little bits you've heard from other people in the crowd, that Dr. Novak, who you travelled up with, is not only a physicist, but she's actually the ex-Mordaunt, and a few people here figure that she might have actually worked on this invention with him.
Okay. Hey, we gotta find that Novak person. She might know what's going on.
Well, if you want, I can try and have a look for you.
Can I just use like a perception roll or something, just to see if I can see her in the crowd or something?
Oh, you don't need to roll for that. I mean, you're looking through the crowd, you can find her soon enough.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so
Yo, Novak!
What do you want?
Hey, how about you come over here to this corner with us? We got a little proposition for you.
So we walk over to a corner where very little people in, or next to nobody.
So, what is it that you wanted?
Hey, Novak, you know how this thing works, right?
Oh, I guess, if I had a look at it.
And
Okay.
you don't like this Mordaunt person anymore, do you?
Not really.
So how about you help us and we have a little bit of a heist, so to speak?
You mean to steal the machine? Well, he stole my research, so why not?
I mean, we could always give you a kickback or something,
Just let me see how the machine works. That's all I ask.
Okay, great. Like the sound of it.
Can the three of us like kind of go out of the way and just explore, like not majorly, just see if there's like any ways that we can trace the wires?
Well, yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, the wires go through a hole in the wall to antennae that you saw outside, but inside they go into this large boxy structure on the stage that's covered by dust sheets.
I guess this is to you guys or
Hey, we gotta blow some of this dust out of here so we can see better.
Yes.
So I think we're just gonna have to wait for the reveal, to be fair, before we can even do anything. Or
It's up to you.
or unless we just straight up go onto it and just pick it up and run.
When I say this is a big boxy structure, I mean it's big. This is, the structure that this is covering is probably about 10 foot long and about 5 feet high, maybe about 3 or 4 feet deep.
Okay, so I'm assuming like if everyone tried to lift it, it would be a joint failure in like everyone's limbs.
Yeah, I mean, without looking at what's under the sheet, all you can do is guess at how heavy it might be. But I mean, you know it's big. You don't know for sure that it's whether it's heavy because you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I guess while you guys are doing that, I'm going to speak over to Alex because according to this, I know Alex. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk up to Alex
okay.
and I'm like, "Hey, Alex, I need to ask you a favor."
Oh, it's you again. Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
You can see Alex looks quite pale, as if he's had a shock.
Alex, I guess I should ask first. Are you alright? You look like you've seen a ghost or something. I mean, you should be quite used to that, but...
Yes, I saw something, and it was the Reverend that did it to me, right? The weird spiritual thing. I can't actually remember.
Yeah.
It was the Reverend that did it. Okay. Something is wrong with the Reverend. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but it did me quite a frighten.
What? I mean, have you asked your spirit friends? Do they know something about him?
No, they tell me to stay. They tell me to stay well. They tell me to stay well clear of that man. There is something not quite right with him.
Oh, that sounds pretty bad, actually. I mean, I guess it doesn't look like he has any valuable good like alcohol in him either. So, not a man I want to be around either.
Still on the drink, I see.
Yeah, your spirit friends didn't exactly help me when I tried to ask my alcohol problem. But
that's because you should go to rehab or AA.
But you told me that they would at least offer some kind of help.
Yes, I did, and you paid a mighty fine price for that, and I apologize.
I need to ask you something very important. You see, have you heard of a guy called Joey?
No, I bumped into him earlier. But I don't know.
You were in the
much
car
about him.
together. Yeah.
Oh, well, could you ask your spirit friends a very serious question for me?
It depends what you define by serious.
Could you ask them if you will ever be my friend? I would like to know. I'm getting really lonely, you see.
I don't mean to. Your crippling alcoholism is not going to stop me from being your friend.
But he doesn't want to be near me, it seems.
Oh.
Maybe they'll know how I can get his attention.
Maybe it's not them that can help you. Maybe only you can help yourself.
You sound like a true con artist.
What's the whole point?
Well, I tried helping myself, and look where it got me. It got me 2 bottles of the strongest alcohol I have, and
maybe you should put them down, you moron.
No! I hug him and like trying to keep hold on to. You can't take away my babies.
No higher power can help you.
Well, find one that can. Find some kind of power that can.
Hey, can you hear shouting from the other room? What the hell's going on in there?
I think it's time to ignore this.
If anything, you're scaring me. Don't leave me alone. I need to rethink many things.
I go on my knees, but please.
You're making a scene.
I know,
looking at us.
All right, Joe, can we just step in and stop this now?
Oh.
Hey, look, you guys. I know we're in the car together, but can you stop? We all walked into the door together, and you're making us all look bad. All right? Now move it.
Yeah, just shut up, or I have to, get rid of you somehow.
And I get back up to the shop and just get silent.
All
I want to take another look at that contraption.
right. Can we sneak around the back of the stage and take a look?
Yeah, there is enough
I'm
of
not
a gap.
interested considering
There's
control
enough.
my
There's enough.
character.
Wait.
There's enough of a gap between the edge of the stage and the wall that you can just sort of get down, the other side of the contraption. I mean, you're still potentially visible, but you can at least squeeze yourself down slightly out of sight there.
Okay. Can I do that? Is that a thing?
Sure. Yeah.
I'll do the same.
Are you trying to do so without any?
I'm trying to do so without anyone noticing.
Yeah, me too.
In which case, give me a stealth roll.
Okay. I got Shadow, which is an ability as well.
Yeah.
Reduce the difficulty of your life. You can see, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is normal. Bonus die on it. So what that means is you get to roll your tens die twice, and you take the lower result.
Can I just borrow this? Make it easier.
No, it's alright.
Right, I'll do my stealth roll
Okay,
now.
so I got 43, but my stealth.
You can roll another 10 though. You can roll
My
another 10.
stealth is 80 anyway. I'll just.
Do you want to roll another one just to give
What did I
you
get?
get like a crit?
You got 49.
Okay, well my stealth's 60. So
No, it's the tens die. You roll, not the unit die, but so it would have been either 43 or 93. So.
Oh wait, no, that was two separate.
Oh, I see. Right, gotcha.
What is it? Joey?
But 43 is good enough. I mean, it's just a straight stealth roll you have to do because it's a party. People are distracted by other things. So yeah, you can easily slip down and get underneath the dust sheets if that's what you want.
Yeah. And also, just to let you know, there was another roll which was Joey's roll, which was 49. So there was a 43, which was my roll, and I only rolled once because I got way under, and then Joey's roll was 49, and his stealth is 60.
yeah.
Okay, good. So both of you have slipped onto the dust sheet. In which case, and you see, got under there. That under the sheet, it's basically a big sort of boxy metal structure. There are sheet metal bolted together to form something that looks like I don't know, maybe a control panel of some kind.
A control panel.
A control panel. I don't know this sciencey shit. Where's Yelena?
Well, I see this glass button. It looks real nice.
I'm gonna try and pull it off.
Sorry. What are you pulling off the dust sheet?
Yeah. Like, because the control. You said there was a control panel in front of us, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is basically one big control panel from what you can see.
Yeah, so that's underneath a dust sheet, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, that's
Okay,
right.
so we'll pull the dust sheet off.
Okay, so you pull the dust sheet off, and a number of people sort of stop with their conversations and turn around and take a look at what you're doing. The rest of you can see that they have unveiled this thing that looks like a metal box with a number of dials and switches and displays on it. There's a big knife switch, and as you do that, I mean the band carries on playing. A number of the people in the audience, or not the audience, a number of the people at the party stop what their conversations and stare at you. And almost immediately as you do that, you can see the Reverend Nye turn and just look at you. And he's starting to walk through the crowd very deliberately straight in your direction.
Oh no, I think we've done something, Joey.
Can we just pull the massive lever?
Okay.
Hey, Grace, I was gonna, suggest maybe saying we were the servicemen checking it out or something. I've got.
Yeah, we are checking it out.
I'm gonna pull that lever.
And while you're
Okay. Yeah, you pull the lever down, and something definitely goes, thrum inside. Just vibrates slightly. You can feel, this hum cutting through the air. It distracts the band enough that a couple of them play bum notes, and the few people in the party who hadn't noticed what was going on, turn and look towards you. The Reverend, jumps up onto the stage, surprisingly athletically, and is walks a few steps over towards you, and his voice rising above the music says, "What the devil do you think you're doing?"
Oh dear.
Hey, man, we're just, checking out the machine. We gotta service it. We've been hired to, go over
Is this a speech check?
This is fast talk.
You have not been hired to do anything. You can try to give me a fast talk.
Okay.
Say that Dr. Novak.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I think it would have to be a hard success at best. To
Success at best.
Okay. Right. Hey, listen, we're just servicing the machine. You don't know nothing. You know who I am? I'm Joey Guerrero.
You got 68.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, the Reverend Nye is looking at you, and as you say that, I mean, you can see him getting angrier and angrier. The air around him seems to be rippling, as if there's some kind of fire behind him, or he's standing in front of a heater or something. And just for a moment, his eyes seem to go dark as he's staring at you. I think I want a sanity roll.
Okay.
While they're doing this, I attempt to jump in front of him and try to hypnotize him.
What did I get?
My character's got hypnosis, and I'm going to give it a go.
Okay, but
I don't
let's have
even
the
know what number that is.
let's have
What did
the
I
sanity
roll?
rolls.
You rolled that.
Oh, that's 100, I think.
What, the Cthulhu?
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, it might be a 0. I'm not entirely sure.
Wait, no, it has to be a 0 because there's not a 0 on the dice.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no 0.
So you just rolled a 00, did you?
Yep. 0 on the 10th, so I got 3. I rolled 3.
All right. So you rolled 03, so that's
Yeah.
good. Right, that's a pass. Did anyone else fail?
I was there as well, wasn't I?
So all of you who are on the stage to make sense.
All right, let's.
Just count.
You haven't jumped in yet, so
No,
we're
no.
alright. Oh no!
What did you get?
I got 69, which is over my sanity. Right,
So you only lose 3 points of sanity, but it's enough that it's given you a start, and in the process of backing off, and you sort of stumble over the dash sheet and sort of half fall off the stage. I mean, you manage to catch yourself before you have an accident, but you've just ended up in an untidy heap on the ground.
Oh, great. Whoa, what was that? I can't believe what I just saw.
Sorry, continue.
So who else was rolling? Who else? Who else was on the stage?
No one else was on the stage just yet, but what is it? Alex was just about to jump on.
Right. So Alex was going up to face the Reverend Nye. So yeah, I mean you backed off in terror. Joey's sort of standing as a ground, and you're going up to try to get the Reverend's attention.
I said as I jump in front of him, I'm gonna attempt to sort of hypnotize him to calm him down, I guess.
Okay. I think
think is 60, so it might be. It's probably gonna be a hard success, but yeah.
I think under the circumstances here.
I don't know.
Under the circumstances, because you're trying to hypnotise someone who is very difficult to hypnotise under suboptimal conditions, I am going to ask for an extreme hypnosis roll.
Oh.
So,
I gotta it's 60, so I don't know what.
So your extreme value would be 12. So you're trying to roll 12.
My would be 12, so I'm gonna give it a go.
Do it.
I know it's gonna fail.
You've got the whole stream on your back. Come on.
Yeah. I got a 5! You got a 5!
Nice.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
It's ruined. I know it's ruined. Well, he just got 5 straight up.
Yeah, well, he just got that for fuck's sake. Told you had the stream on your back.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's got to be a £50 donation from someone.
Okay, so I think at some point you wanted to take a short break, didn't you? Would now be a good time to do so, leaving you on the stage having just hypnotized the Reverend Nye?
Well, that would be
Sure.
amazing. We'll say 10 minutes and we'll come back.
To improvise something as well.
Okay.
Just looking around everything. Why don't I Callum?
To everyone watching, we'll see you in 10 minutes. We'll have a break. Work out what's going to happen next, because we have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've done.
I don't have any idea. Find out together.
Yes.
Exactly.
Perfect.
See you lot in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers, Scott. Yeah,
Cheers.
we'll just mute the stream. See you guys in a minute. Click
I
these
need
two
to get my
buttons.
phone on charge. It's 37%, and it's
She said she was 18, but she lied. 'Cause I found out that she was 35. She knew that it was wrong, but still she led me on. Whoa. And I was well aware, but still I didn't care. No, no. Blonde hair and skinny jeans, a stare so rare, like a beauty queen. I swear I saw her in a magazine. Thought it was her, must have been her. Knew it was her from the magazines. Glad it was her, yes it was her. Yes it was, yes it was, yes it was. Oh, walk on by, holding hands with a younger guy. But I don't care if she don't mind. Thought it was her, must have been her. Knew it was her from the magazines. Glad it was her, yes it was her. Yes it was, yes it was, yes it was. Oh, we were rolling like a hurricane.
message on my own. Took me everywhere, but I never saw home. A mistake in the earth, just looking up, nowhere to.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I tried doing that before. It doesn't work
If you
that
need
well,
a little
actually.
bit longer, that's fine.
Okay.
You could just say it works for a few seconds, and then you could tell him that.
Okay,
Yeah, no, but
we're
I can
back.
tell because he'll freeze if I've dropped. Okay.
Right, we're back.
Okay, we're live again. So, when we left things just before the break, Alex McMahon had just hypnotized the Reverend Nye on the stage, and we'll see what happens there in a moment. But before we're that, let's find out what Ernie the Bull Toro has been up to. Because the rest of you have all been accounted for a little bit, but Mr. Toro has been off doing his own thing. So while Ernie's been wandering through the crowd and tries to eavesdrop and so on, at some point, a rather glamorous looking young woman in a very expensive looking dress, who looks quite familiar to you, wanders up, and she's swaying slightly as if as if she's sunk. And she looks at you for a moment and says, "Do I know you from somewhere?"
Oh yes, you do. You might recognise me. I have worked in the New York Times. I've been working some other newspapers. I know.
Do you ever do the Hollywood beat at all?
I've done that, but I thought, it's way too good for me. I could do better than that, so I thought.
Anything's better than covering fucking Hollywood.
Exactly. I mean, the last film I wanted the people all over the projector and then burn the film with it.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, she says, yeah. Can you give me an education roll, see whether you recognise her?
Alright, where is my education?
It's in alphabetical order, so it should be.
You should, yeah.
I can't see it.
It's not a skill, it's a...
It's a stat.
Alright, where's my tens? 32, and that's a success.
Okay, yeah, you've seen her at the movies before. She's an up and coming film star by the name of Candice Germain. Yeah, you've probably seen a few of her movies. And she looks to be quite drunk. While you're talking, she drapes an arm round your shoulder and sort of says conspiratorially, I mean, this is all getting to me. I mean, I didn't realise how strong the booze here would be. I mean, do you have anything that would take the edge off this? I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, some cocaine would take the edge off really nicely about now.
Well, I can find some cocaine. I mean, I have other ways of dealing with, but I'm sure I can try and procure some cocaine.
Well, I mean, I don't know about Cicero. I mean, it's Cicero's little habit. I don't know. I hear he's hopped up on something these days. You don't suppose he's got any he's got any cocaine around here anywhere, do you?
I can have a look. I mean, I used to know a guy, but he's not with us anymore, I'm afraid. I mean.
Yeah. But no. But yeah, she loops her arm around yours and starts leading you towards the exit from the ballroom and says, "Yeah, but I mean, if we poke around, maybe we can find out where Cicero hides his."
Oh, actually, you know what? I mean, I'm already smashed already, so I might as well have some cocaine while I'm at it. Yeah, sure, I'm fine with that. Let's do that.
Okay, and so she leads you off into the in search of Cicero Mordant's stash. There are servants bustling backwards and forwards. Can you give me a spot hidden roll to see whether you notice something as she's leading you through?
Much I don't know. But right on 35, success.
Okay, you notice that there is a maid who's going into one of the other rooms on the ground floor, another set of double doors that you assume is a dining room or a living room or something like that. A maid who's just disappearing into the door, but something catches your eye about her. She doesn't, she's very hunched over, and she's moving almost like an old lady. And her uniform doesn't seem to fit her quite right. I mean, it looks, she looks, maybe too fat for it, and it's kind of bulging in odd ways. But before you quite get an idea of what's wrong, she just disappears inside the room and shuts the door after her. And Candace starts leading you in the other direction towards the staircase. What do you do?
That woman walking away, looking the door looked a bit strange. Maybe she's moved the stash. Maybe he knows we're onto his stash, or maybe he asked her to move it away.
Oh, you think he'd do that? Oh, yeah. Might do. Oh, what you think we should? What, you think we should go there? I was going to go up and check the bedroom, but what, you think we should check that?
I mean, I guess we could go and check the bedroom. I mean, there might be something else up there. There might be like another different type of cocaine or something even better. Maybe some more expensive booze or something. That would be pretty good as well. So maybe we'll check there as well, just to make sure.
Okay, so where are you heading then? Are you heading towards this room that the maid went into, or are you heading upstairs?
I'm gonna head upstairs.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the servants seem oblivious to this. They've got too many other things going on, and yeah, you get up onto the landing on the top floor. You can. Yeah, I mean, the first thing you notice is that, I mean, it's dark up here. There are a couple of lights on, but the main lights on the landing aren't on. And you can see down at the far end of one of the corridors, there's a set of double doors that's slightly ajar, and there's some light coming out of them. You can also see that there's another door that's a bit closer to you that's ajar, and there seems to be a bit of a cold wind blowing out of it. What do you do?
I find the cold breeze annoying and decide to go to try and close the window.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the one where the cold wind is blowing out of, I mean, there aren't any lights on that room, but as you take a look, you can see that there are some windows open inside, and that there's a cold wind blowing inside, and it's bringing a fair amount of snow in with it now. There is snow piling up on the carpet.
Over there, like, man, this is like a man of cold shoulder. Good thing I was born cold. Good thing I brought with a cold iron heart. I continue to approach as I'm walking on my feet. My feet get slightly cold, so I'm trenching through the snow in the room as I lean over to go and close the window.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you make it. Candice stands over by the door to the bedroom, sort of shivering, and says, "Do you think there's anything in here?" As you go to close the window, can you give me a spot hidden roll as you do so?
Where's my tins? There's my tins. It's this one, isn't it, Carl? Oh, that one. Okay, cool. 89. Sorry, I spot nothing.
Okay, so
He's
so
not deaf, he's blind.
Yeah, no, he's doing man looking.
Thinking there's nothing down there, something there, but I don't care.
That camera then.
okay, yeah, you are completely oblivious as you shut the window. You don't notice anything outside, but yeah, I mean there's a fair bit of snow that's piled up inside, but you managed to shut the window and stop any more getting in.
Ah, that's better. Finally, we can get some nice heat in here instead of letting it all out. The snow. I came in to get away from the snow, not to be part of it. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Candice, shivers a bit more and steps back into the corridor and says, well, "We're not going to find anything here." And she points down the corridor towards where the light is and says, "How about there?"
It's like, well, I guess we could go there. I mean, we may have to check to make sure nobody's there first. Otherwise, we might get into a spot above her. But we can go.
Yeah, I mean, she nods in that very earnest way that drunk people do, and then just staggers off the corridor towards the light.
I stagger along, equally bad, nearly falling over a couple of times, but managing to keep myself up.
Yes.
Okay. She goes down, and they're in the light of coming out. She turns around towards you, and very exaggerated, puts a finger up to her lips and goes, "Shh." And then pushes the door open, or rather pulls the door open. Sort of banging it against her foot in the process and swearing under her breath. And from inside the room, you can hear the sound of someone groaning.
I think maybe mine. It's like, I really hope that's not the type of groaning I think it is. I really don't want to walk in on it. Last time I did that with Celebrity, it did not go down very well.
Oh no.
She looks at you and giggles, and then immediately goes into the room.
It looks like I'm doing it. All right.
And with that, let's cut back downstairs to the hypnosis.
Oh, here we go.
Where's the old cheesy Batman thing that's like
That'll be fun to do in post-editing for highlights of this stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alex was shaking his pendant in front of the Reverend Nye, who was the very picture of uncontrolled rage a moment ago, and now his eyes are just following it backwards and forwards, and you can see him growing a bit more peaceful, and he's watching it, and he's still saying fairly calmly, "What is the meaning of this? What do you think you are trying to do?" But he seems to be completely distracted and subdued by what you're doing.
Yeah, Grace, press more buttons.
I like this shiny one. I'm gonna pull it off.
Oh god! I get the biggest, glowiest button that I can find, and I yank it and see if it comes off.
Sorry, you're what, pulling a button on the control panel?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the button. I'm gonna rip it off. Well, actually, no. I have to.
Okay.
I'm actually on the floor, aren't I? Last time we spoke.
You can get back up.
Okay, so I get back up, go around to the control panel. I'm like, oh, look at all these shiny buttons.
So you grab one of the buttons and pull it, and it comes straight off in your hand, and
wow.
you can see that the button that you grabbed just seemed to be glued to the panel. It doesn't look like it actually does anything. There's no mechanism or control underneath it. You just pull it off.
This button's a fake. What is this machine?
Yeah, the Reverend Nye, in his calm manner as he's watching the pendant go backwards and forwards, says, put that down, or I shall destroy you.
I have a skill called resourceful.
Yep.
Pop skill. So I want to
Yep.
spend 10 luck to realise that I do actually have my gun in my pocket, even though I thought I forgot it.
Sure. Okay. Yep.
Awesome.
How much luck do you have?
I've got 70 now.
Oh, you've scored high on your luck.
Yeah. So I basically pull out. Joey pulls out this diamond-plated revolver and just points it at the Reverend.
Okay. I mean, with that, I mean, the band stops. They
Wait,
were trying to play, and yeah, there's
Scene wasn't already dramatic enough.
yeah, I mean, there's some of them are backing off and getting off the stage. There's gasps and a few cries from the audience, and things like people muttering, "My God, what's going on? He's got a gun, and it's going to change the world, you know."
His gun definitely will change.
Hey, don't you worry, it's just all a part of the act. This is the opening scene. I'm going to make a fast talk roll.
Oh yeah. All right, give me a five.
Okay.
Make it a good.
Match.
Let's hope so. Alright, here we go.
Yeah, I can try.
Callum, tell me what you got.
You got 0-2. So you
Oh, 2.
0-2. Oh God, yeah. You have met. On a success that good, a few members of the of the party sort of gasp at you doing that,
Yeah.
and then start applauding.
Can I come in as
Hey,
like an assistant?
thank you. This is my assistant, Grace Lavon.
Hey, how are you doing, everyone? Are we going to show you how it's done?
Oh dear.
Need more credits.
Hey, so Reverend, do you want to tell us about this machine? Get the act on the road.
So, this machine will change the world. It will bring about a new age. But we must wait for Cicero to come down and show it to the audience. He is much more of a showman than I am.
Sorry, did you?
He's still watching the pendant go backwards and forwards. I mean, you can see he's desperately trying to break his eyes away from it, but he can't for the moment.
Yo, Riverbed! How many of these knobs and buttons can I pull off before something happens?
He said, I don't know exactly. Most of them are cosmetic, I believe.
The entire thing's a fake.
No. The device is the universal energizer is a very real thing. But Cicero is a showman. He has made it look much more complicated than it is.
While this is going on, because I've realised I've got a Master of Disguise skill, can I spend 10 luck to try and pull off like all my clothes and appear as Cicero, like in the clothes that he would wear, and try and deceive
Even though you've never seen him
I
before
am?
in your life.
I think in order to do that, I mean, it's not something you can just do on the spot. I think you would have to perhaps run off and get some of his clothes, perhaps.
Okay.
I mean, you could perhaps, for example, sneak up to his bedroom and steal some of the clothes from there.
Oh,
Okay.
we could do a proper show. You know when they on a magic show when they hold that sock over someone and then they drop it.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
That's great. Or what if I combine? What if I spent 10 luck to find like the kind of clothing that he would wear as with the
yeah,
skill,
okay.
and then also
Sure.
the Master of Disguise. So spend 20 luck in total to try and make this work.
You're gonna have no luck.
Okay, you are going to have to give me, I think, because you're doing this pretty much in full view of an audience. I think I do want a hard disguise roll,
Okay.
just to see whether you can pull this off.
Right, I've spent the 20 luck. Let's see what happens. What's my disguise?
Can I prance round on stage and make like some like distraction type thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, my skill gives me a bonus die as well.
I think the fact that you're standing there hypnotising the Reverend and gun around, this is pretty ready.
Okay, I'm gonna take your gun.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna I'm gonna like try and do some tricks with it. I know exactly what I've got. I know
Grace, take my gun. Show them proud.
I'll show you what I did. I'll show you what got me this voice.
So I'm gonna put the entire gun in my mouth. Yeah?
While it's loaded.
While it's loaded and everything, and I'm gonna strip all of the diamonds off of it with my mouth and put it back out.
Hey Grace, what you doing? That cost me a fortune.
It's a show.
Don't worry, my saliva will stick it back together.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'm making the hard roll now. And do I get a bonus dice? Because my the master of
Yeah,
spells
yes.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
actually, instead of a bonus means you get you can just make a normal instead of a.
Oh, okay, sure. Right,
Yeah.
50 or under. Let's go. What have I got?
18.
18.
So,
Are you sure these dice are weighted?
so what you're using the distraction and what a bit of cover from the machine or something to
Yes.
quickly to change your costume and then re-emerge as Cicero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be horrifically brilliant.
And,
horrifically bad.
Yeah.
Is Cicero like? Is he?
Honestly, it's like one way or
English?
another,
Does
there's
he
no
have a
between in this
posh
situation.
accent? How does he? try and
so-
speak? Have I heard him
So
before?
so yeah, I mean you have somehow managed to pull this off, and yeah, you turn back and a few people, a few people in the audience, look up, and it's Mordant. He's come to demonstrate his invention. It's going to change the world, and yeah, there's a round of applause, and the Reverend is still watching the pendant backwards and forwards, and you can hear him mutter, "You are not Mordant, and I shall destroy you for this affront."
I'm not important, so I will destroy it.
Just shoot him. We don't need him anymore. Well, I'm not going to shoot him on stage. Can't you use me as an assistant and be like, "You're great. Push all the buttons."
Okay, so you are going to try to activate the universal analyzer. Let's take this opportunity to find out what's going on upstairs.
We made a mess.
So cutting back up to the master bedroom as Candice Germain had staggered into the bedroom, giggling because she heard someone groaning in there. It sounded like Ernie had followed her in. Is that right?
Yes, I was like,
So you can see, I mean, this is a fairly plush-looking bedroom. Like a lot of the houses, it's decorated expensively, if not tastefully. There's gilded chintz wallpaper, there's curtains that clash with it, there's some very expensive-looking antique furniture, including a very big four-post bed. There is a big antique wardrobe standing up against one wall that's got a door open, and fairly incongruously there's light coming out from the wardrobe, spilling out into the room. On the other side of the bed, you can see poking out from the end of it a man's legs, a man's bare legs. He's just wearing socks. As if there's someone lying on the ground just on the far side of the bed.
man, why do you have to wear socks? If you're gonna go to bed, you might as well go full nude. That's the real manly way of doing things. I'm gonna.
So.
Sorry.
No. What are you doing?
I'm going to approach that and try and remove the duvet. And try and see what's going on.
You don't need to move the. I mean, he's lying on the.
Oh.
So if you walk around the other side of the bed, you can see that lying on the ground there is a man. He's wearing a silk dressing gown and socks. He's lying on the carpet. He looks very, very pale, like deathly pale. He's absolutely soaked in sweat. He's lying on the ground next to him. There is a little glass bottle that is filled with a sort of murky yellow lid. That has partially spilt and is soaking into the carpet. Lying next to that, there is a glass syringe that's also full of the same liquid. And the man who's lying on the carpet is weakly reaching out towards the syringe, and as he sees you coming around, he's help me, my medicine. I need my medicine. Help me.
Oh, and everyone's like, oh, what's the medicine for? Don't.
I'm sick. I need my.
Okay. I'm gonna walk over, and I'm going to pick it up and just give it to him.
Okay, I mean you can as you get there. The stuff that's spilt and the bottle that's open, this liquid, I mean, it's got a fairly unpleasant, meaty smell to it. And you can see that there are flecks of something floating around in this murky yellow liquid. And you know, as you pick it up, he said, inject me in the arm. And you can see that the inside of his elbow is covered in needle marks and has got weeping wounds and abscesses on it. It looks quite badly infected.
Is there any way that I can take a sample of it for myself before I give it to him?
Yeah, I mean there is the bottle that so the bottle's still got a sample in there.
I'm going to take the sample for myself, and then I'm going to give him the spare ones that's there. So I'm going to take the glass needle and basically give him that.
Right, and you're injecting in the syringe.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. I mean, as you do so, almost immediately you can see his colour getting better. His breathing becomes less ragged, and his eyes look a bit clearer as he looks at you and starts pushing himself off the ground. And he says, "Thank you for that. Where did you put the bottle?" And as he's looking, he looks beyond you, behind where you're standing at the moment, and says, "Young lady, move away from there at once." And you can see that Candice has stepped inside the wardrobe.
Candice, get out of there! There's nothing of her. There's nothing in there that we're looking for.
She says, "No, there's something down." She says, and she disappears inside the wardrobe.
Candice, what's going on?
And you hear the sound of footsteps disappearing downstairs. The man, is still pushing himself off the ground and says, stop her at once. As he says this, I mean, his eyes bulge slightly, and you can see there's a big vein in his forehead that, as he says that, just pulses and bulges out of his forehead.
Can I say why? What's down there?
It's private. She has no business being down there.
Is there any way? Is there a chance where I can try and make a persuade roll to see if I can at least get something out of him?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to stay there and talk to him, that's fine.
I'm going to try and sort of look, it's very, very important, you see. I don't want any trouble. I need to know what's down there. I need to know what I'm getting myself into so I can get her out there and there won't be a problem.
It's my workshop. But she has no business down there.
Ah, okay. Is it okay? That's what I need. And I was like, I'll try and get her up.
He says, "Act quickly! Don't just wait there, you idiot! Move!"
I'm like, all right, geez, I've just helped you. As I walk off and I start going towards it to go down.
And as you walk towards the wardrobe, from somewhere down below, you hear Candice scream. And let's cut back down to the ballroom.
Ta-da! Look at the fucking ball!
I did get them back. Yeah, get them back.
So you were trying to activate the universal energizer. Is Dr. Novak helping with this at all as the one person who might actually understand how it works?
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
I pulled all the buttons. So something does something else.
While that's going on, I'm going to try and impersonate Cicero Mordaunt.
Yeah.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you will enjoy this invention that shall change the world as we know it.
As you say that, there's a. I mean, about half the audience looks up at you and says almost in unison, "It's going to change the world,"
Yes, you are quite right, good sirs and ladies. I don't know how you know that yet, but it does, and it will. So, Grace and Yelena, would you like to show them the machine?
Why, yes, sure.
Why have you
So
gone from your
it's-
character to your own?
Because I'm impersonating.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the master of
Miss
disguise.
Miss Novak, is there any of these that you need back on?
Just sort of like arms out like this.
Just a couple of them. Let me repair this scientific device.
So is Dr. Novak taking a look at the device?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fixing it because
I pulled
Okay.
everything off it.
In which case, I mean, to try to gain some understanding of what this is, do you want to give me a physics roll? As you had the as you had the weird science ability, you do have a chance of understanding how this works.
yeah.
Yes, Yelena is very good at this. She should have the
Yes.
machine up and running.
I failed.
Okay, so I not only do you
99.
understand,
He got 99.
you rolled a 99.
Oh my god.
So you're looking at this device, and this might very well infuriate you because Cicero. I mean, the man's an idiot. He can't possibly have designed something that is too complex for you to understand. I mean, you always had the greater intellect, but looking at this, whatever this is, you can't work out what he's done. If you wanted to, I don't know, perhaps start pulling panels off and looking at the insides, you might be able to, push the roll and get a re-roll. But of course, but of course, if you fail on this, there might be unexpected consequences.
Push it.
So what you're trying to say,
99.
what you're trying to say is, she's staring at this is like, I can't understand, this is made by an idiot!
It's like if you made something and I tried to figure out what it did.
Yeah, or you're saying, you're going to pull a panel off and she's going to go flying across the room.
Or she's gonna go some like kind of weird wings and shit. Start
How much
devouring
luck
the
would you
souls
have
of
to
the living.
spend?
Oh, a lot.
19.
90. 90.
19.
90. So you failed again. Fantastic.
no.
So,
They were asking me how much luck I would have to spend.
Yeah.
90.
I'm gonna push the roll then.
Sorry, you pushed the roll and you got a 90. Is
Oh,
that
no,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
no,
pushing the roll now,
We're pushing it now.
and I got 11.
Oh,
You got 11.
Right,
Yes, sorry, Scott. I was
I'm
asking him how much luck
Oh,
he would have to
17.
spend.
got
Oh,
17.
right.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Yeah.
In which case, on an 11, yes. I mean, as you pull the panel off and see the yes, I mean, you understand immediately at this stage what it is that Mordant has created, and I mean, this is far beyond what a second-rate intellect like Cicero's could have created. What he seems to have succeeded in creating here is a device that not only extracts ambient energy from almost 0-point energy, but it then it's designed to project it wirelessly through the air. And you realise that the antenna array you saw outside in the lighthouse, that what this is designed to do is beam energy across the lighthouse and activate it.
Interesting.
Yes, this is my invention. I hope you like it. Yelena, would you like to turn it on and show them what it does?
You see, it is meant to beam energy to the lighthouse. Which means there might be something near the lighthouse. So let's turn it on.
I mean, the machine's already on. We already turned it on ages ago.
You pushed a lot of random buttons. We're going to push a lot of random
more random
buttons and
buttons now.
dials.
What, you mean the ones that are in my hands?
So, are you actually active?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to rebuild some of it to activate it.
And while this is going on,
Okay.
I'm going to take my gun back from Grace and point it back at the Reverend. You see, this Reverend is a traitor.
So, I mean, the Reverend, is clearly trying to break free of the hypnosis while this is going on, because he is clearly deeply affronted by what you're doing. But as you pull the knife switch and activate the device, the whole thing hums into life, and you can hear the crackling of energy outside. The air seems to be torn asunder, and all of a sudden there is blinding light from outside, cutting through the snow. You can see that there is actually a heavy blizzard going on outside now. The snow is really coming down, but even through this heavy snow, you can see the light from the lighthouse just beaming towards you as it lights up the entire house. And what I would like, as all the light comes, is those of you who are in the ballroom, can you give me spot hidden rolls, please?
Spot hidden, sure.
Yeah.
Right, 45, please.
So I'm on my
You've
own.
got 30.
Oh, okay, I succeeded.
I got 16. I succeeded.
I got 20% battery.
Okay. And there in
Oh, I need to roll
the
as well, actually.
2 more rolls.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm 73. I don't even know what my spot hidden is.
24.
I failed.
I actually don't know where.
Since you're-
Oh, 50, so I succeeded.
So it sounds like at least 3 of you succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those of you who succeeded, you can see silhouetted in this light through the snowstorm that there are some strange shapes moving through the air. These twisted forms just flying, buzzing through the air outside. For a moment, you think that it might be some trick of the light, and maybe that there were insects that were closer to the light source and have been projected towards you. But no, just the way they're moving, you see a couple of them moving through the snowstorm, and you don't know what the hell they are, and then suddenly they're gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep looking at the machine.
I mean, the Reverend Nye, looking backwards and forwards, and says, "What was that moving outside?"
So are all the people in the audience kind of transfixed on this machine?
Oh yeah, they're not born.
Okay.
Or yeah.
So if I were to shoot the Reverend, they wouldn't care.
Well, there's one way to find out.
Shoot the Reverend.
This Reverend has betrayed our cause. He tried to destroy the machine and stop us from starting it to show you how it will change the world. As
I
such,
say, don't shoot him. He's the only leverage we have on this
no,
goddamn
he
thing.
will pay for his crimes.
Pulled out the
Okay.
Joey, I mean, Morden, you can't know what you're talking
So,
about.
don't I get a bonus dice if it's point blank? If I remember.
Yeah,
Oh, I
absolutely.
keep going with this one.
Yeah.
Shoot the guy. Oh.
with your
Yeah,
with your
I
gun,
don't
with
think
your
so.
gun with saliva in it.
It's point blank, and he's hypnotized. I'm not even going to ask you to roll for this.
Oh.
If you want to blow his brains out, you can blow his
Yep,
brains
I want
out.
to blow his brains
With
out.
your diving crusted saliva-filled roll.
Fantastic.
Oh.
So there is the explosion of a gunshot and screams throughout the audience as
Your mic's cutting out. I don't know if that's my end.
Okay.
Okay, it's fine now. What are you saying?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. It's fine now.
Okay. So there is the explosive sound of a gunshot and screams throughout the audience as you blow the Reverend's head apart. His body twitches backwards and forwards and collapses down to the ground. And
Should I do a
as
sanity
the
roll?
audience, I think all of you have to make sanity rolls.
Do
at
I
this
have
stage.
to?
Well, I mean, I'm not here, so I'm alright.
Yeah.
Joey,
Yeah,
you got it on my dress!
I have brains all over I have brains all over me. Like
Okay.
everything. I'm covered.
Scott, does Joey need to make a roll, or is he fine because he shot the Reverend?
It's these-
Yes, all of you have to make.
Oh, okay.
All of it, everyone over there has
What the hell? I got a 17!
After this is happening, I'm just going to be like, it's okay, don't worry. He was trying to stop the machine. Calm down, you crazy people.
Adamant's face.
Calm down,
exploded
join
my-
the party.
Adamant's face
nice.
exploded my
Okay, that's-
face. I
that's
rolled a
nice.
17 and I'm completely fine.
Yeah. So we got 39, 14, and 17.
And I got
Yes.
30.
So did everyone pass?
Yeah.
We're all fine, basically.
Well,
Apparently you've seen worse.
none of you really liked him anyway, so what the hell?
We're not even phased.
You literally give no shit.
Let's take that as an opportunity. Let's take that as an opportunity to go back upstairs and catch up with Ernie. So Ernie had stepped into the wardrobe, and instead of finding himself in Narnia, he found himself in a little brick stairwell that was heading downwards, and the sound of Candace's screaming is coming from the bottom of the stairs. You can hear something else as well. Actually, give me a listen roll.
This is going to be me not being able to hear anything. Alright.
Yeah,
There's my 10, there's my this, then my listen is 20. No, my listen's 20. This is going to go either horribly right or horribly wrong.
95.
95, I do not.
Okay.
I can't.
No, then
Still tone deaf.
it's difficult to make out anything with Candace's screaming down there. But you can hear a buzzing sound down there, like there's maybe some kind of electrical generator or something down in the basement. And behind you, the man at the master bedroom is just shouting at you, "Faster, you idiot! Move! You have to stop her at once before she ruins everything."
Alright, jeez, alright, I'm going as fast as I can, alright? Please, I've had one too many. I'm on my way. There's a stumble a little bit to try and climb downstairs again, but again I managed to just keep myself going and staying up as I go down.
Sure, yeah. Then you belt down the stairs, and as you get down, you go down 2 flights of stairs. So you reckon you're probably down in a basement level, and you get down there, and you're in a brick-lined room with a concrete floor. It's a fairly large room, and it's lit by a number of electric lights. It looks like a workshop of some kind. In fact, you were told it was a workshop. And there are workbenches with all sorts of tools and projects in progress. There's a big wiring loom up on the wall that is arranged in configurations that, even if you knew something about physics or electronics, wouldn't necessarily make much sense to you. There's other bits of inventions that seem to be lying around, but all of this is secondary, because the thing that probably catches your attention most of all is what is in the center of the room. There is a device in the center of the room that looks like a medieval torture instrument of some kind. It's made of black iron and bolted into the floor. It's some kind of harness made of strips of iron, and it is holding something in place. There is a creature that is being pinned in the center of it, something that is man-sized, but is very much not a man. It has a black chitinous carapace. It has far too many limbs. It's twisted. It's malformed. Instead of a head, it's got this sort of bulge that seems to have crenellations across it like a brain, that's pulsating and glowing slightly in a most repellent way. This exposed brain area, you can see that there are a number of holes in it. It looks like it's been torched. It looks like something has drilled into its head. and there is yellow liquid leaking out of these holes.
I wonder if it's the same yellow liquid.
Exactly, it looks exactly the same as the liquid in the bottom. You can see as well that the bolts that are holding this harness together are driven into its carapace, into its flesh, and seem to be holding it in place. And as you come down, the whole harness just rattles on the ground, and you hear this buzzing voice filling the room that says, "Release me!"
I take one look at an empty bottle, having cameras like, God, maybe that psychic was right. Maybe it was time I came off this stuff.
Can you give me a sanity roll?
Oh, 50. This is going to be glorious, ladies and gentlemen.
It's always getting bad rolls and everyone else.
My phone's on 14%.
And
so
I get
roll when
14.
it runs out.
Harry, I got 14, so I'm perfectly fine.
14. Okay, yeah, you don't lose any sanity.
You're going to pass it off to you being drunk.
Candace is just standing. Candace is standing there in terror, looking at this thing, and looks round at you and says, "What is that?" And the creature is just buzzing and says, "Release me now, or face my wrath."
Feed me.
I look at her and go,
myself.
Kenneth, I hate to break it to you, but I honestly think you and I might have had one too many to drink tonight. And you'll see what I'm seeing. I don't think you're going to want to drink ever again.
That's not a pink elephant.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're seeing that too? Well, I don't know.
I don't know what is.
It shakes the harness again, and it says, "Release me, and you will be spared."
Well, I mean, I do like the idea of being spared for something. Well.
So no.
Why do you want? I look and go. Why do you want to be released?
Are you asking a chained monster why?
Yeah. I'm drunk and pissed out of my mind, so I don't really care. I'm not scared at all.
This is a character.
It says, "I am in agony. The human has tortured me. He has stolen from me, and he must pay for this. Release me, give me my vengeance, and you will be spared."
Well, I take a moment to think. I was like, I gotta admit, I wouldn't want to be in his position, unless it's some kind of weird fantasy I'm having during a drunk episode. But that's a story for a different day. But I was like, okay, then how do I release you? Do you know how I do that?
Release these bolts through my flesh. Grab a tool from the bench and unscrew them.
I'm going to guess this requires a first aid skill, and I don't think you have that.
Oh no! It's going to require mechanical repair.
This is gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna go. I love all living things, except my bitch ex-wife. And I was like, I'll help you, and I got to get a tool to try and help him.
Okay, and you got to. As you start undoing the bolts, you hear footsteps coming down the stairs behind you, and Cicero, the man in the silk dressing gown, comes in, he looks at you and says, "What the hell do you think you're doing? Put that wrench down now."
This poor creature, this poor beautiful thing from God is suffering here. What kind of cruel man? I dare call you a man. Are you to this poor thing? This thing's more man than you'll ever be, and it doesn't even look like anything.
I mean, he comes forward. I mean, he jabs his finger in your fist. In your chest, rather, and says, "You are an idiot. You cannot possibly understand what is at stake here." I mean, his eyes are bulging in his head. I mean, you can see this vein pulsing more and more. He just jabs his finger repeatedly into your chest and says, "Your intellect is so weak that I'm surprised you even know how to operate that wrench. Put it down at once. Put it down before." Then, as he says that, his head explodes.
I was going to roll.
There is a huge wet sound as his head just blows apart. You are sprayed with blood and bits of brain tissue. You can see an eyeball. You can see an eyeball fly across the room and just bounce off one of the walls with a wet splat. What I do want is a dodge roll to see whether you're hit by any of the shrapnel from his skull as it blows apart.
As I'm doing this, I may be an idiot, but I'm a living idiot. I want to live. So it's a dodge roll. Okay. Where's my dodge?
Up here somewhere, maybe. Dexterity.
Dodge is half your dex.
It's
so
dex, so
whatever
it's
half your dex is.
I'm terrible at maths. It's too late for this. Half of 95 is someone for me. It's 45 is 35, isn't it? What is it?
What are you asking?
Half of 95.
Half of 95?
Yeah.
That's like 42.
Oh, your dex,
47.5.
your dodge might actually be better than that. Take a look on your character sheet. Your dodge might be better than dex.
Oh, 67. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, that should be fine. I'm gonna cut this up and we go for that. Did I roll
You rolled the wrong dice.
I'm gonna keep that unit now. Alright,
No, you don't. Yeah, reroll.
Fine. I'm still fine. 16.
Okay, so yeah, you reflexively hit the ground just as this happened, and while you're covered in bits of gore, your flesh is not shredded by the bits of bone that fly out all over the place. Candice, on the other hand, isn't quite as lucky, and you can see her staggering back with a big bit of cranium just stuck in her throat as she's gasping for air. The creature is cage and saying, "Release me at once!" And we'll cut back to the ballroom. So meanwhile, back in the ballroom, speaking of exploding heads, you've just shot the you've shot the Reverend Nye in the head, and his body is on the ground now. You can hear from out in the outside the ballroom the sound of someone screaming. There's the sound of doors being banged open, and there's someone out in the corridor outside who's screaming.
Sorry, what were you saying, Scott?
I said you can hear from within the ballroom. You can hear from outside the ballroom.
Yeah.
The sound of some doors being banged open, and someone screaming in the corridor.
This is nothing to be alarmed about, people. This is no problem at all.
That's part of the plan. Cheers.
And the Reverend is lying on the ground on stage, and it's trembling slightly.
I kind of like move over to it and just kick the body, trying to get it to stop twitching.
Okay, it doesn't stop twitching.
Why will it not stop twitching?
He usually starts
Listen to
twitching.
me, leave it alone!
I knew he was a holy man, but I didn't think he would be possessed.
From outside in the corridor, you hear a sound that sounds like electrical discharge, or a blast of almost like lightning striking, a huge electrical crack and a boom, and one of the maids staggers back into the room and she's on fire. You can smell that barbecue pork smell of burning flesh. Her hair's on fire, her clothes on fire, and she's screaming and collapses on the ground in the ballroom. Everyone else in the ballroom starts screaming. The Reverend's body twitches more. What do you do?
Yo, Novak! I think your device is faulty. What did you make? You're an idiot!
Why is this woman on fire? Get her out of here!
I want a refund!
You didn't even pay to get here.
So what is the rest of the audience doing at this point? Are they still staring?
Largely panicking.
Stop panicking, there's nothing to worry about, it's just a bit of fire.
And as you say, there's nothing to worry about. These two huge, large buzzing forms flying through the air come round the corner in the corridor and into the ballroom. they're huge, monstrous insectoid-looking things. They've got black carapaces and these bulging brain-like structures instead of heads. They've got the long wings, the insectile wings, flapping through the air.
Yes.
One of them is holding something that looks incongruously like a camera, and there's electricity crackling up and down the surface of it. Can I have sanity rolls off you?
Sanity rolls, mate.
This game just keeps getting worse.
This is horrible.
What did I roll?
You rolled 48.
I got
That's a pass.
25, so it's still a pass. So my sanity is
I
Yeah,
managed to
79.
stop that.
I passed as well.
56.
Did you pass?
I'm fine. Barely.
I must be some
so
I got 6.
So sorry. Did anyone fail?
No.
Okay. So yeah, you're all together, even in the face of this fresh onslaught of weirdness. So yeah, what are you doing?
So how many are there? Is there like 2?
There's 2 that have flown into the room, so you can hear more buzzing coming from outside.
Okay. Well, hello everyone, can I have your attention please? So you see these insectoids, they will enhance your intelligence if you run towards them.
Oh,
Okay.
I missed something in the info change.
Do I need to do a fast roll?
Give me a fast talk, a hard fast talk
Okay.
roll, I think, to convince the crowd to mock the flying monsters.
Right, I need 40 or under. What did I get?
34?
Oh, perfect! Success!
So you are stoking the mob into running towards the creatures.
Yep, so we can all peg it out
I-
at the back.
Yeah, I mean, as they do so, I mean, the creature that's holding the camera-like thing, seeing the mob coming towards it, it discharges it again, and you can see a bolt of lightning come out, and the oil magnet that you were speaking to before explodes into a burst of flame as his clothes catch fire.
Yo, Joey, I think it's time to make the casino act and disappear.
Yes, the fire makes you more intelligent, just ignore it, it's fine.
Let's make like Da Vinci and get the fuck. Wait, no. Wrong time period.
So I mean, the other thing you can see is you've perhaps been slightly distracted by the buzzing creatures coming in, but the Reverend's body is now trembling more and more, and it's now shaking quite violently, and you can see that the flesh on it seems to be splitting, and something is beginning to come out.
Let's just run, let's get out of here.
I got an idea. Yo, Joey, I got an idea.
I'm not Jerry, I'm Cicero Mordaunt.
Look, it's time to give up the act, Joey. It's time to give up the act. I don't care anymore. Get out.
I can't give up the act, did you know it?
I've got an idea.
What?
Basically, you take his legs, I take his arms, and that thing's going into the crowd.
Okay, yeah, can we make it, we'll just chuck it in there.
Yeah, can we make a strength roll between us to get it into the crowd?
Yeah, by all means. So you're trying to throw the twisting, changing form of the Reverend's corpse into the panicking crowd.
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic.
So, wait, Scott, remind me, is it the person with the lowest strength roll that makes the roll and the other person gives a bonus dice? Or is it the other way?
I'd say one person chooses to make the roll, but you add your strength scores together.
Okay, Cam, what's your strength?
My strength is 60.
I've got 40, so you'll make the roll.
Okay, I'll make the
So
roll.
we've got 100 in total.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just going to quickly...
So I'm going to have to score 100 to fail.
No, 96 to 100 will still be a failure.
Alright,
Okay.
before you quickly roll, sorry, I'm just going to quickly say, this is out of topic, we received a little bit more donations, we received around 90 quid from Mark, Jeff and Curtis, so thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Cheers.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry for the distraction, back to the game at hand.
Alright, here we go. We got 85.
Wow, it's still a pass.
So it's still a pass.
That's a
I mean,
very close shave.
between you, I mean, the red body arcs through the air and lands wet splat. Bits of flesh just burst off and start sliding across the ground, leaving wet trails of blood and ichor behind them, as something monstrous is beginning to burst out of the remains. And we'll cut from there and move back to Mordant's workshop. So Ernie, is there on the ground, having just avoided being shredded by bits of flying skull. As I said, Candice, on the other hand, isn't quite so lucky. There's a bit of skull wedged in her throat. It's bleeding.
Oh.
The creature in the harness is trying to shake free and is still buzzing about. Release me, or you will suffer the torments of my brothers and sisters as they come to destroy you all.
I say, at least give me a second. I go over to her and I say to
she does not matter. Free me.
I look at her and go, this is I said, look, this will only take a second. If you let me through this out, I will free you, please.
And he just carries on shouting, "Free me!" and shaking the cage.
I'm going to have to ignore this one because for this I ignore it. Go up to Candice and say, I go up to I bend down like, don't you worry. I'm going to try to help you. You see, I don't know if this is me being drunk or if I'm starting to sober up, but I've always cared about you and all the people that ever treated you wrong. I always wanted to be there.
I don't think you knew her until like an hour, a couple of hours ago.
I've seen enough of her movies to get an attraction of her. That's how we're doing this.
It's exactly the same thing as knowing her. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And I'm like, I've always looked at you. I always thought that you and I had a thing, and I'm not going to let you die until
You're making a speech.
already. Until at least I've slept with you maybe once, maybe twice.
Then I think you better give me a stage roll.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh. I'd laugh as
I've still
you
got
say
a corpse.
that.
I've still got a
Falls
corpse.
over
Fine.
Keel's over and just.
30%. You ready for this, boys? You ready?
Wait, what are you trying to do?
You ready for this? You ready for the?
First
You ready for the? You ready for the crit?
doing a first
Are you
aid
ready for
guide,
the crit? You ready for the crit?
Yeah.
36.
Oh, you can spend 6 luck.
I'm gonna spend 6 luck. I want to save her.
It's a small sacrifice.
So you're spending the luck and you're staunching the bleeding and stopping her bleeding out.
Yes.
And she's weak, she's in shock, but you have just managed to save her life.
Only just like having a speech.
I gave her a dramatic speech and I saved her.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the creature is buzzing wildly in the cage, and you can hear another buzzing sound, and it seems to be coming from the staircase that you came down, as something buzzing is moving down it towards you.
Oh, great! It's gonna be the security guard. We're busted. Great, let's have like get any cocaine today.
Like how that's your only concern.
But actually, it's sleeping with her and also cocaine. Both at the same time.
Wow.
You have minimal concern for this situation.
Yeah. I've only just started sobering up at this point. So I kind of haven't broken
It's
through
gonna be a
yet.
long night.
And yeah, I mean as about this, yeah, coming around the corner into the workshop is another one of these creatures like the harness, except this one is obviously not harnessed, and it is flying through the air, held up by these membranous wings, flying towards you, yeah, you can hear the two creatures. They'd be talking to each other in some buzzing language you understand, and as they do, the creature that's just come into the workshop turns towards you, and it does not seem to have good intentions. What do you do?
I look at it and say, I was just getting to your friend over there. I mean, to make sure she was okay first.
You hear the creature buzzing in the saying, you chose the human instead of me. You left me here to suffer. You will suffer too.
It's like I didn't want you to suffer, but I didn't want her to suffer. You look like you could handle just a few seconds more. I was coming to you.
And this the creature, the free one, is flying to. That some of its limbs have got these sharp crab-like pincers on them, as it's moving towards you with intent.
I did say it again. I was about to free him. I'm basically not scared of it.
Okay, so are you trying to get it to back down at this stage?
I guess that's a fast talk.
Yeah, effectively.
I think taking this intimidate.
Yeah, I'm going to intimidate.
That makes a lot of sense.
Basically, I was getting to it. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can give me a hard think, you can get it to back off.
Alright, well, I got 70 on my intimidate, so I'll probably be like 50 or 40.
Will be 35.
35, okay, that's fine. I've got this.
That's a generous hard roll, if I'm honest.
I've got this, boys, don't you worry. I got it, 25.
Brilliant.
I'm like, you better back down, sunshine. I'm getting to you.
Why do you call this thing sunshine?
I told you, I give zero shits about it.
Then yeah, I mean, just as this thing's claws were coming up to try to rip your throat out, it stops in the air, and the other one in the harness buzzes, and it says, perhaps, a little more reticent. Very well. Release me now, and you shall be spared. But make it quick.
I was like, a deal with a deal.
And you're going back to try to release it.
Yeah.
Okay, then give me a mechanical repair roll to see whether you can get these bolts out without harming it too much.
There you go, my friend.
Don't worry. I'll just.
You're probably going to piss it off if you're not careful.
I've got to get a 10 or lower.
10. Look, if you die, you won't be missed.
Well,
Did you get 90? What did he get?
97.
So that is, because your skill is so low, that is actually a fumble. So
Yeah.
as you twist the bolts, I mean, obviously you're a bit spooked by what's going on, and you're trying to put a brave face on this, but you're distracted. And as you twist the bolts, you realise just too late. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, but you're doing it the wrong way round, and you've just tightened the bolt, and something goes crunch as you tighten the bolt, and the creature within the harness suddenly goes limp.
Oh.
That was not meant to happen.
Oh, you killed him.
I was
Oh,
not meant to do that. I
I
swear.
hope he passed out. Oh no.
Save
And I mean, with that, the one that's buzzing in the air, twists around to look at you and starts moving it. And let's cut back down to the ball. So in the ballroom, you just thrown the twitching mass of what was left of the Reverend Nye into the crowd. The two flying creatures are busy, ripping their way through the panicking people. The body that you've thrown into the center is now bursting open with new life. There are tendrils, black tendrils bursting out of it, reaching up towards the roof, as this monstrous form, far, far, far too big to have been contained by the mere mortal husk of the Reverend Nye, starts coming out and filling the room. Its flesh is black and dripping with goo and ichor. There are tendrils reaching up towards the roof and reaching up and quickly bursting through it, ripping a hole in the roof above you. And it just reaches out and expands, these huge clawed arms reaching out. And I would like sanity roll off everyone's.
I take it I'm not here to.
No, you don't see that.
So everyone.
Okay, right. Is it okay if I borrow 10?
Wait, you lose one of your
Yes.
life.
24.
I'll just borrow your
I've got
D10.
50.
No, I'm 50.
Oh,
I am just I am the most unfazed mystic ever.
Let's see.
You're used to it, though.
Oh,
You're
God.
used to it.
I got 50.
I've seen some shit,
56. That's
and I
a pass.
wouldn't recommend it.
I'm the
Right.
most unfaced.
I failed miserably. I
I'm not
got,
going to stick with an actress, so it's
Well, you
fine.
studied this, so surely it makes
Machine.
sense.
What did you get?
So-
Alan?
Physics.
wait, let's go around the table. Who got what?
I got 50.
24.
56.
Well, instead of telling me, go round in turn and tell me who passed and who failed.
Well, I passed.
I passed.
Okay, so you
I
passed.
failed.
So hang on. First of all, that first pass, you only lose 2 points of sanity.
Okay,
Okay.
so that was...
Okay. So sorry. Who was next?
It was Ollie, so it was
I passed.
Novak.
So that was another pass.
Yeah.
So the next person, so you lose 9 points of sanity. And we'll come to the consequences of that for a moment. So
I passed as well. I got a 24.
okay, so you only lose 4 points of sanity, and we had one failure, did we?
Yeah. Callum.
Yeah, I failed miserably. I got 93.
Okay,
That-
you lose 30 points of sanity.
30. Oh my
And
god.
I'm
Oh
the
my-
one just trying to get us.
Callum, you're
I-
gonna be insane.
So
I laid a brick from
Every
the
game,
UK
every game
to
we
America.
played, on stream and off stream, it's always been you the one who loses the most sanity. Even if others try and do it, it's always you.
No.
So sorry. Who was it who lost the points of sanity?
Grace Lamont.
Okay, so can you give me an intelligence roll for Grace, please?
I hope I'm intelligent. I'm not intelligent.
You want to fail it.
Exactly. I got 85. My intelligence is
Irritation to
60.
You failed.
So you failed.
So you failed. So you're not having a bout of madness. You have not realised the full horror of the situation. Your mind has managed to sort of shutter out the full ramifications of what it is you're experiencing. So you're okay.
Yeah, so I've just shat
so-
myself, essentially.
I mean that doesn't mean you're happy with the situation, but on the other hand, yeah, you're not
Essentially,
losing
been through
control.
worse.
You're not batshit crazy.
No.
Yes.
Who was it? Who was it who lost 30?
That was me.
That was Grace.
That was great. I lost the 30.
Oh, sorry, it was Grace who lost the 30. Oh, right. In which case, Grace is indefinitely insane at this stage. So you are having a bout of madness regardless. So I think what is happening with you at the moment is you are hatching a crazy plan to deal with this situation. So what this means is that you have come up with some scheme to bring the situation back under control and get everyone else out safely. However, from a player point of view, the scheme you're coming up with makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And it's almost certainly worse trouble. But you are still going to pursue it passionately. So
you normally then
I'm looking forward to
I'm
this.
essentially coming up with the worst plan possible that I think would be the best option.
Absolutely, 100%. Who was it who lost the 9 points of sanity?
That was me.
That was Novak.
That was
Yeah, that was
Dr.
Novak.
Delina Novak.
Sorry, who was that?
Know that.
Yeah, Dr. Delina Novak.
Okay. Can you give me an intelligence roll, please? Which, having a 95 intelligence, you will probably pass.
Gets 96.
96.
No, hang on. 83.
Oh, 83. Okay.
I was jokingly saying if he got
All right.
higher, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
So, you two are having a bout of madness at this stage, and I think in your case that what's happening with you is that so the red mist has descended. for a mad scientist, you're a fairly rational person by nature, as rational as a mad scientist can be. But what you're seeing is clearly impossible. It's clearly against all the laws of nature and physics. This should not be happening. I mean, the conservation of mass and energy start is just impossible. And clearly, as a result, this thing must be destroyed. I think by using the means at your disposal, that your mission from this point onwards is to ensure that this creature that is bursting forth from the remains of River Nye is destroyed. How you go about that is up to you.
Hey, you know what they never told you about your old pal Joey? He's a massive coward. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here, Alex.
It's a little unknown fact, but it's still true.
What are you talking about, guys? I've got an amazing plan. Why don't we just ride the tentacles all the way to the roof, and then we can get out, right? Grace, I love you, but you're a goddamn idiot. But guys, you don't even understand. We need to get out now. Yeah, I know. We're gonna run for the back. You can come with us or you can die. It's up to you. You don't understand, guys. We need to all go together. We need to all ride on the tentacles. Alex, I don't know about you, but I'm not going with this crazy woman.
And that's how tentacle things were created.
Oh, lovely.
So what is Grace doing? Because she's got the best decks out of everyone, so she's acting first. So what's she doing?
I am running through the crowd to this body that's bursting out of black tentacles, and I'm going to bear hug one and try and ride it to the roof.
Fantastic. Okay, then I think give me a fighting brawl roll then to grab hold.
Right, where's my fighting room? Good luck, Karen.
And in return the tendril is going to try to crush you into the ground like a bug.
Right.
If I die, it's going to be amazing. Oh, you're going to love this. My fighting brawl happens to be 45, and I just rolled 99.
Well, if it's any consolation, I just rolled.
Can you repeat that?
I said if it's any consolation, I just rolled 97 for the attack on.
Oh,
So I think what's happened is that you've jumped onto this tentacle, but it is slimy with ichor. So basically you slid off the other side, and you're sliding across the ground, on your belly. The tentacle at this stage has tried to come and slam down on top of you. But instead, it's just turned the wealthy heiress who was standing beside you into a thick layer of jelly, and bits of her are splattering all over you as the floor of the ballroom smashes down.
Let's just hope this thing isn't like 3 times lucky, alright?
Okay. So I think the creature actually acts next. And considering you just tried to attack it, I think it's going to return the favour, and it's going to try to grab hold of you in one of its tentacles and crush you. What are you doing?
Me?
Grace, sorry.
Yeah, Grace, okay.
Oh, what a pretty monster. Let's give this thing a kiss.
So you're trying to grab hold.
I'm gonna try and grab hold of it again.
So give me a fighting brawl roll.
Here we go. 45. Gotta be under 45. 57.
57.
Okay. On the other hand, so you grab hold of it, and the good news is you do grab hold of it. The bad news is you do so just as it slams down into the ground again, and you're on the bottom. So, this will do how much damage? Lots of damage. This does 39 hit points of damage.
How many hit points do you have?
26.
26?
So essentially, what I've been turned into is like, you know, the jelly in between a pork pie layer, between
Oh,
the pork
meat
pie
jelly.
and the outer bit.
Meat jelly, basically.
Well, well, but on the other hand, because this is Pulp Cthulhu, you do have the option for surviving certain death. So what happens is you can spend every single point of luck you have, take your luck down to 0, and I mean, your character is taken out of the scene. But as long, do you have more than 30 points of luck at the moment?
Yeah, you got 18.
Yeah, I've got 80 luck.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, because you need a minimum of 30 for this to work. So if you spend all your luck, you can survive this. So what happens is, in a follow-up scene, you just get to explain how Grace managed to survive what should have been something that just, you know...
You don't know how much that would please me. I'm going to do that.
Okay. So the rest of you see this tentacle slam down into the ground. The floor collapses, and there is just no sign of Grace. I mean, surely, you know, she is just being crushed into, you know... I mean, there's so much blood and gore around anyway that you probably wouldn't have noticed anymore.
Hey Alex, let's get out of here. I don't want to stay here any longer.
Right behind you.
So, could we just make a run for the car?
Yeah. So you're going to run for the car outside. So I mean, there are monsters out, you know, outside. But first of all, let's see whether you get there. So I think, you know, as you're running through the mass of panicking people and the monster in the room, I'd like each one of you to make dodge rolls just to see whether you can work your way through the crowd of panicking people and actually get to the door.
Okay. Oh, I'm just going to steal the last bit. No problem.
Dodge.
That look like
That's
Grace?
25.
Grace.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Do you think that's what Grace would look
fun,
like?
isn't it?
Okay, right. Tell me what I get.
You get 10.
10. Okay,
Oh,
that's
that's
perfect.
0, and that's 10. So is that?
There's 10.
Yeah.
That's 10. So I need to roll. I need to get below 25. And I get 39. Great.
What about you? You trying to run away?
No, because I have to kill it because of my insanity platform.
Alright. So I miss.
Oh.
Okay,
Well,
so we've got
I failed the
success.
dodge
We've
roll.
got success and a fail.
So yeah,
Alex failed the dodge.
Okay. So Alex is still stuck in the room. He's trying to work his way out through the mass of panicking people. Joey, on the other hand, has managed to slip through like a greased eel, and has made it out the corridor. And you can see that the doors of the main doors into the house are wide open. There's snow piling up in the corridor. You know, there is a full-scale blizzard going on outside now. But what, are you just running out into the snow?
Well, Joey's a massive coward, so he's just going to run to the car and drive off if possible.
Fantastic. So you're running for the...
Yeah.
What's Dr. Novak doing?
Because I'm by the machine,
Yeah.
I think I want to salvage parts and build a weird science device to kill them all.
Oh, so what kind of weird science device are you trying to build?
Because their type of bugs traps a sonic sound emitter.
Yeah. So basically, you know, because this thing beams energy through the air anyway, it really isn't it really is being a death ray. So is that basically what you're trying to do? You're trying to redirect the energy within the room? Okay. Well, this could go well, or this could go very, very badly. I think because you're trying to do it quickly, I want a hard electrical repair roll off you.
So looking for E. There you go. 80.
Okay.
You got an 80 in there.
Yeah, I need to get an 80.
80 or below. His electrical repair is 80.
Well, is this?
I'm just talking about what I need to roll. I need to roll.
Yeah,
40
you need to roll 40 or better.
I got 32.
42. So are you going to spend? Are you going to spend
I
2 points
got
of
a
luck?
hard success. I got 32, I believe.
40. 32.
32. So 3 to
30. Oh, 30.
Yeah.
Sorry, 32. I couldn't hear you properly. Right. So yeah, that I mean 32. So yeah, I mean you basically spend this round while shit is happening all around you, and you're calmly sitting there, ripping bits of wiring out and carefully rewiring everything. So next round, yeah, I mean if you pull down that knife switch again, you're going to be able to blast electrical energy throughout this room. Potentially killing everything that's in there.
Oh no. Well, I'm not in there, so I'm fine.
I'm still in.
Joey's out of there. Joey's fine.
I won't die today. I got a show to continue. Just screaming that.
Okay. But we'll worry about this in a second. Let's cut back to Ernie, and so. Yeah, Ernie had just killed the creature in the cage, or at least, it looks like you killed it, and its friend doesn't seem to be too happy about this. His friend seems to be very, very keen, as far as you can tell, on eviscerating you. So, how does Ernie feel about this?
Ernie is not too impressed with it. He's going to intimidate this one as well. But basically saying, listen, Cupcake, alright? Cupcake, can I call you Cupcake? Sunshine, maybe? Look, I understand that you're pissed. I can understand. I'm pretty pissed off I wasn't able to help either. But the things you see, is he kept shouting at me. It was putting me under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure, and I didn't have to try and go through it. I could have just let him stay and stuff. Sure, I could have suffered along with it, but at least he would have suffered as well. The thing is, I at least tried. Alright? And if you don't like it, that's your problem. But as you can see, I put a lot of effort in, and most people, probably the people who came with me, will probably have killed that thing. If it's a thing. I don't know what, I'm sorry, I don't know what your species is called. Please correct me if you want it. But
So I think most of what you're trying to communicate here is going to have to come across through body language, because this thing doesn't speak English. So you're basically shouting at it and waving a spanner around. So give me a hard intimidate roll.
Let's do this, boys. Let's do this, boys.
Good luck. You're essentially poking a dragon with a stick.
What did I get? 9! I got 9! Yes!
09.
09.
Okay, so this thing swoops in towards you, pincers out, ready to rip you into chunks of flesh, and you stand there shouting, waving the spanner, and it stops, hovering in the air for a moment, and it does sort of the flying equivalent of backing off carefully from the mad person, and then just starts flying backwards up the stairs.
And I'm screaming, yeah, you better run! Bitch! That doesn't deserve my swear words.
So you broke up the clip. I didn't hear what you just said.
Oh wait, our stream's died.
Has it?
No, wait, I'm gonna say.
Just give it a second.
Wait, look at our packages. How many have we lost? Up here.
0.
Okay. As I was just saying, as it was flying off, I just screamed, yeah, you better run.
Okay. Yes, it does. So yeah, you are there, in the relative calm of the workshop, the cellar. The buzzing of the creature is retreating up the stairs. Candice is breathing raggedly on the ground. You've sort of patched up the hole in her throat, but obviously she still needs medical care, and the situation seems to be under control. And then the house starts shaking like an earthquake. You can hear the sound of walls collapsing. You can hear the sound of windows breaking. The ceiling above you cracks. You can see the plaster cracking. There's plaster and falling down around you. The walls are cracking. And Candice What are you doing?
Could you repeat the last little part? It got out for me.
Yeah, from Candace.
All right.
That out.
Candace is still lying helplessly on the ground. As the place is shaking itself apart around you. What are you doing?
Am I able to try and pick up Candace and try and take her out of the workshop?
Yeah, well, you certainly can. I think in order to get her out of here quickly, I'd like a strength roll for you.
That's something I can do.
Throw her out the window.
Wait,
I told you
what?
I've got a crush on her. I'm trying to impress her. That's why I scared the thing off. What?
He got 0. It's 3 zeros.
That is a.
Yeah, that's 100, isn't it?
So yeah, you try to grab hold of her, but I mean she's slick from blood, and the place is shaking apart around you. And it's worse than that. I mean, you pick her up, and because she's slick with blood, you actually drop her again. She slips out of your hands, and at this point, a beam from the ceiling comes down and pins her on the ground, and she's now trapped under this beam. At this point, her eyes snap open, and she's looking up at you. One weak, bloody hand reaching towards you, and you can just see her mouthing your name.
Oh,
You killed her.
No, she's still alive. She's pinned under this beam now.
Oh,
What are you doing?
I'm sorry, darling, but I got a bit cocky there with the guy. Hang on, I'll get you out of there. Everything's gonna be okay. I promise you.
So are you going to?
I'm going to try and get her out from under the beam.
So I think this qualifies as pushing the roll. So
Yeah.
you're still using strength to try to get her out of here. If you fail on this, I think this is going to be the end for Candace. So the strength roll is life or death here.
Alright, let's do this, boys.
I think you're leaving the bone zone. It's gone now.
Don't you worry. Come on, stream. Give me the power. 37. That's a hard success, surely, because we've got 80.
What's your strength?
Well, I've got 80, so.
Oh yeah, that's hard success.
So that is a hard success. So yeah, point at which the adrenaline surge kicks in, and you manage to get under there and lift this heavy wooden beam off her, and you can get her out and start carrying her off to safety.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
I'm like,
Okay.
don't you worry. I've got you, darling. We're getting out of here alive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can hear her muttering her name. Get her in the fireman's lift, and as you're going up the stairs, I mean the house is shaking apart around you. You can hear what sounds like a monstrous, inhuman, bellowing scream just echoing throughout the house. Walls are falling down. The walls around you are cracking and crumbling. And as you get back up to the bedroom. And we'll cut away from you for the moment, and cut back down into the ballroom. So let's start with let's start with Alex, who did not manage to get out of the room.
You're gonna try again.
So you're still trying. So you're trying another control to push your way through the crowd. I think because this is effectively pushing the roll here as you're trying to do this. If you fail,
I'm going to try and use clairvoyance to try and find the most risk-free path out of that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll buy that. Give me a clairvoyant roll then.
So that's these two, and I've got to roll basically 80 or below.
That sounds pretty good odds.
Yeah. 24.
Okay. Whoa! I mean, you get a flash that I mean, there is a flash of an underground space below. You realise that the floor that's collapsed, where the tentacles smashed down a moment ago, has actually opened up, perhaps a network of cellars down below. So potentially, if you drop down into those, you can get out of the chaos here.
Yeah, I'll drop down then.
Give me a jump roll then to jump down into the darkness and not.
If you break your legs, I'll give you a tenner.
I'm just trying to find where. There we go, jump. Oh, okay, it's just the.
Oh, just 20.
Just alright, okay then.
Oh, God.
Oh,
You have to roll 20.
shit. Got a 3!
Oh, you got a 3.
I got a 3.
Oh wow. Okay, so even though you can't see, well, maybe it's because your second sight showed you where it was safe to jump down there, but you dropped down into the darkness, and with all the jagged rubble and the broken lumber and so on down there, you managed to drop down and not break a limb in the process. So you're down there safe in the darkness. So this just now leaves Dr. Novak, who is about to try to activate the universal energizer.
Suicide mission.
I activate it.
So I think in order to. Yeah, I mean, flick the switch, but it's more than that. I mean, with the work you've done, I think you're trying to direct the energy within the room towards the targets you want. So I think, let's have you make an electrical repair roll just to see, whether you can discharge the energy where you want it to go.
And I got 38.
Okay, that sounds like a hard success.
Yeah.
So basically, you're not going to sterilise everyone.
Then, as you slam the light switch down on the universal energizer, there where you've torn the panels off and rewired things, these arcs of electricity burst out and start blowing chunks out of this marauding creature. They start it blows some of the flying monsters out of the air. I mean, it also incinerates a few party goers, but you can't make an omelette without killing a few eggs. The room is beginning to catch on fire as these sparks of electricity go wildly across the room, and that is the point at which you snap out of your bout of madness and realise that you've just set the room that you're in on fire.
Oh. What a time to get out! What a time to smack out of it! Yeah.
Then let's cut to Joey, who just run outside. And outside, I mean, there was plenty of light a moment, but then because someone rewired the universal energizer, all the light coming from the lighthouse has gone out, and so you can't see what's going on outside anywhere near as well as you could a moment ago.
Okay.
What you can see though is the first couple of cars you come to have they've had the engines physically ripped out of them. There are bits of machinery just lying or scattered throughout the snow all around you. These cars have just been destroyed.
So our car is destroyed too?
Well, I mean, these are just the first come. And looking around at the damage, you hear from above you the sound of buzzing wings coming down from the sky above towards you.
Okay. Right, I'm going to use my resourceful skill to try and find a working car, which requires me to spend 10 luck points.
Well, I think, because it's not something that you might just have for any major thing. Instead of that, what I'd like is for you to make a luck roll, just to see if there is still.
You said make a luck.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so make a luck to see if any of the cars have survived.
You relay the information until my phone sorts it out.
Okay.
Is it back now? I'll just quickly rejoin. Does it have to be a hard or?
No, it's just a straight luck roll, just to see if.
Straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I get a bonus dice because of that skill?
Nope.
No.
No.
Okay, right. Let's see what happens.
Come on, Joey Guerrero.
86.
Well, that's a fucking fail and a half.
Oh, okay. So you're there, staggering through the snow, desperately looking at car after car.
We'll just have to tell me what happened.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I can
So
do
you
that.
see-
Scott.
okay. So you're there, staggering through the snow, desperately looking at car after car, and none of the cars you look at are even remotely intact. And at that point, the buzzing sound that you heard above you swoops down towards you, and this creature flies down and tries to grab hold of you. What are you doing?
Right, there's a bug that came down, and there's no cars around that you
Right.
are aware.
Yeah.
Intimidate
Yeah.
it works
so
every
they are
time.
Pardon?
Only for you.
Are not.
Okay. I want to try and shoot it.
The bug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I see? Or
So
do I just?
you can down towards you. So if you got your gun out, yeah, you will get a shot off before it grabs hold of you.
You'll manage to get a shot off before it grabs
Yeah.
hold of you.
Okay. So should I just roll or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's see what happens.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. I'll use it for.
4.
Okay. What was that one?
24.
24. Wait. In Pulp, can you use luck on combat rolls?
Yes, you can.
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna spend 4 luck to make that succeed.
Okay. Then, give me a damage roll.
Is it okay if you tell me the damage? Because I forgot.
Or what kind of gun is it you've got?
So it's just like a standard revolver. Kind
So a
of what you
38.
expect.
Okay. So that would be a
That's
D10.
also slightly moist.
Cool.
Yeah, mine's D10
D10.
plus 2.
Is this a
Huh?
okay, I'll pick those.
Mine's D10 plus 2.
I've just
What did
I've
it
just done.
get, Ollie?
I'm unarmed.
9.
9.
You
9
got the
damage.
highest roll.
Okay. So the bullet whacks into the creature, and it seems fairly unfazed by this. It carries on swooping down towards you, and it tries to grab hold of you.
Shit.
You get the highest damage,
Shit.
and it does not care.
Can I attempt to dodge it?
You certainly can.
Okay, cool. Do you mind if I have those dice again?
That's it. Don't worry, I'll run out then, I'll scare it off.
Cheers. Does that do-
Wait,
Well, you're currently still down in the basement.
No, I didn't, I ran out.
Oh.
Right, see what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. By using
I
clairvoyance.
like it.
What was the number?
54.
Well, I'm spending another 4 luck. Wait, can I spend luck, Scott? Still?
Yes, you can.
Okay, another 4 luck down the drain.
You're gonna have like 1 luck.
It's a one
Well, it's
shot.
not,
And it's gonna go to the point where
you spend
you're
all your
desperate.
luck saving yourself.
Right, there we go. I spent luck to dodge the attack.
Yeah, you got no luck left.
You get to 29 and then die.
Okay, so yeah, you dodge out of the way. Unfortunately, these things have 2 attacks per round. So as you dodge out of the way, it swoops back, and it has another go at trying to grab hold.
Okay, can I attempt to dodge again?
You can. It's slightly harder for you this time because you've just dodged.
Okay.
So basically, you make a dodge roll. Basically, it's going to get a bonus die against you.
Okay, right, let's see
I
what
was
happens.
going to say, you could jump it.
Remember,
What is it?
drop, tuck, and roll.
I
What
can't
did
tell
I get?
that's.
That's 93.
Wow.
Well, your
Or
fault.
is it
Okay.
No,
So you try to dodge this time, and as you do so, you yourself bounce off the side of the car that you were next to, land stunned on the ground for a moment, and this thing swoops down, grabs hold of you, and lifts you straight up into the air, flying up into the darkness, carrying you.
Oh. Bye.
Joey don't like to fly. He's always hated flying.
Especially this isn't first class.
This isn't what you call first class. This ain't even business.
This is not even economy.
So yeah, Joe's
So
basically just screaming.
Then let's move quickly back round to Ernie, who's just run up to the bedroom with the unconscious form of Candice in his arms.
Cake
What,
notes.
What are you doing? Are you? Like I say, the building is shaking apart around you. You can see that a lot of the front wall of the house, has actually fallen away, and you can actually. You can look straight out into the snow here from where the wall's gone.
Alright, I've got one choice, which I've got to either get the house safely or get out of the most daring, potentially killing me and her way. Which way do you guys want me to do?
The wall.
That seems like the way I'm going then. I'm going to go for the exciting way. I'm going to try and look for a space where I can jump out the building and land safely.
Okay, I mean, there are snow drifts out there, so you might be able to pull this off. So
That's what
I
I'm
think...
I'm going to Assassin's Creed it out the building.
So
It's
I'd
unrealistic and you know it.
I'd like you to make a... I'd like you to make a jump roll just to see whether you can land in the snowdrift or whether you're going to land somewhere altogether more unforgiving.
Looks like a snowdrift, but actually it was a rock.
Yes, or it was a car with a thin covering of snow over it.
Oh, that's a classic death.
To make it even worse, it's a working car.
it drives off as I'm falling, so I fall into the pavement.
Oh, stop it, make it worse. Just roll.
Got ideas.
I got 53, and my jump is 40. Am I able to spend luck?
You can, yes.
I'm gonna spend 7 luck then. 13 luck.
Okay.
I'll spend 13 luck.
So yes, yeah, that snowdrift that you jumped into was a snowdrift, and it breaks your fall. You land in it, and you and Candice disappear within it, but you can struggle your way out, and it breaks your fall nicely. So cutting back into the ballroom, Dr. Novak was setting shit on fire.
Setting shit on fire.
So shit is very much on fire. Shit is on fire all around you. So what are you doing? As the good news, this creature that was tearing the house apart is also on fire. So it's a bit distracted by that. But on the other hand, the room is filling up with smoke. You can barely see anything now because of the smoke, and it's getting harder to breathe.
Are there any windows I can jump out of?
Yeah, I mean the windows. Well, I'll tell you what. Give me a luck roll to see whether any of the windows are broken with all the this chaos.
I broke one and I jumped.
Give it a second microwave, nuke it.
No.
55 for that.
Scott put it, all shit is on fire.
Yeah,
So-
I failed, I got 70.
70. So every other window in this building is broken, but the windows behind you, between you and the outside, those ones are still intact.
They're iron barred.
I thought this was a fancy house, not a prison.
These are sort of heavy wooden sashed windows. You can try to jump through them, but if you do this and you get it wrong, it's really going to hurt.
Are you going to take the risk?
Yeah, why not? Let's take the risk.
Thank you for
Hey, you set the house on fire. What else
I'm
can you
going
do?
to take the risk and try to jump through it.
Okay,
So that jump roll that you need to make.
So are you trying to die close?
I'm going to try to die through it.
Okay, in which case, give me a jump roll.
I'm falling with style.
Good luck, Dolly.
Oh, 20 jump.
Good luck.
Oh, I failed, I got 54. Am I able to spend luck?
You can spend luck, and it might be a very good.
I'm spending 34 luck.
Oh my god! That's more than the minimum fee was 30.
Yeah.
You spent all your bloody luck.
I spent 80 luck.
I'm on 21 luck.
80, wow.
Okay, so
You didn't save his life, so it counts.
So you smash through the window, and I mean you get torn up a little bit in the process. I mean your clothes get torn, you get scratched up, but it's superficial, and you tumble into a snowdrift outside as flames engulf the ballroom behind you. The last few people in there, you can hear their despairing screams as the smoke and flames take them. But you know, the creature is on fire, and you know that is very much occupying its attention. Outside, you know that there's struggling from a snowdrift just further down the building. You can see Ernie, you know, carrying the unconscious form of a young woman. But also above you can see disappearing up into the night sky the screaming form of Joey as he's carried aloft by this buzzing monstrosity.
It's a good opportunity to cut back to me.
You bastard!
Yeah.
Drop me!
And yeah, I think this is a good opportunity because once the creature has got to you, you know, a few hundred feet up in the air, it's going to drop you.
So how high up now? How high up am I right now?
So at the moment, yeah, we need about 100.
Sorry, what did you say? Your microphone cut out for me.
It's got you about 100 feet up so far.
Okay, let me see. Would it be possible to use my gun?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna point blank shoot it straight for its torso.
Okay, then you get a bonus die on the roll.
Oh wow.
Joey Guerrero may die from this.
One thing you may have noticed is you shot, you know, when you shot the creature before, you shot it pretty much straight on in the body mass, and you're fairly certain that the bullet actually didn't seem to hurt it much.
Okay, never mind. I've got a better idea. I'm not going to shoot it. I'm going to get out my knife and I'm going to cut off its.
Brilliant! Then yeah, give me a fighting brawl roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Do I get a
I'm trying
bonus
to think,
dice,
like,
or-
how can you use parts of the creature to help crash, stop your fall?
Well,
Yeah.
Or 18.
18,
I-
16.
Okay, then I'll tell you what. If you give me a spend a few points of luck on it, you could turn that into an impale. You know, if you take it down to an extreme success, in which case, you know, it'll do maximum damage plus roll damage.
Okay, right. I'm going to spend 9 luck to do that.
How much luck have you got now?
42, and now I'm going to have less than 42. So I've now got
121.
yeah,
I'm
no,
on 71.
33.
I've got more luck than I know what to do with right now.
33
Have you actually
luck
spent
left.
any luck?
So yeah, then and that is going to be enough damage. I think. Well, give me the roll damage.
Okay.
But I think that's going to be enough. I think to kill it.
Is that what dice do I need for that? Is that D4 or D6?
So it's going to be a D6 plus your damage bonus plus 6 plus. Do you have a damage bonus?
I believe no, I don't. My strength is shit.
So it's going to be a D6 plus 6.
Okay, cool. Right, let's see what we get.
12.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yes. You gut this thing like a flying fish. You know, there are bits of internal organs just spilling out all over you as you tear this, you know, the torso of this thing apart with your knife, and with that, you know, the buzzing wings that were holding you aloft stop buzzing, and you are suddenly plummeting to earth like a stone. What I would like now is a luck roll to see whether you land in a snowdrift or whether you land somewhere high.
Oh god. Okay.
So either way, you're getting crushed by a bug, though, right?
Well, let's see. So luck roll. My luck is now god awful. So. Where's the other dice?
I think I have it.
Okay.
Alright.
Right. Less than 33.
Come on.
37.
Oh.
You can't spend luck on a luck roll.
You can't spend luck on a luck roll.
Too bad.
So you take. So as you hit the ground with a smack, well, you don't hit the ground. You do hit the roof of one of the cars, and you take 23 hit points of damage in the process.
Right. I'm on -1 health.
So again, ordinarily that would kill you outright.
Yeah.
If you want to blow all your luck, you can survive certain death here.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
because
do
you've
that.
got more than 30.
Oh, we still need to figure out how Grace has survived her encounter.
Sorry, what were you going to say,
Oh,
Scott?
we need to do that, don't we?
What I was going to say is I think we're now ready to move because you've all got free of the building, or at least got free of the situation in one respect or another. Well, two of you have survived certain death, but three of you are at the front of the building. Two of you have blown all your luck to survive certain death.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got three of you out the front of the building and two of you down in the cellar. So, do you want to tell me about, each group of you? Do you want to tell me how you survive until morning comes? Because it's going to be dawn before any kind of help comes.
I'll go last. Also, Scott, I just want to quickly point out, we've only got 18 minutes left. So
no. Will take about 2 minutes to wrap up, and that's the end of the game.
Oh, really?
All right.
So. No, I mean, this is sort of telling me how your characters survive until dawn to wait rescue.
Yeah.
I assume I've kind of like separated myself from the fire a good ways. I'm going to assume because I'm in the cellar.
Yep.
It's kind of a bit stupid. I'm just gonna hang in the cellar until morning.
Yeah, there are bits of the building falling down around you, and bits of the cellar, collapse. The bit you're in, I mean, it does. It's smoky down here, and every now and then a bit of burning corpse, lands on the ground beside you. But somehow you survive, and I think maybe down there into the darkness. Is this how Grace survived as well? I mean, would Dr. Novak find? No, not Dr. Novak. It's
Alex.
sorry, who is it? Would Alex find Grace down there in the darkness?
No.
I thought
I've got a really weird way I get out.
Oh, brilliant! No, brilliant. In which case, so yeah. I mean, then Alex just waits there in the morning until dawn comes. So what happens with Grace? How has Grace survived?
Alright, Grace survives like this. Alright, floor collapses. I hear a massive explosion go off as the death ray fires. Loads of fire happens all above me. I'm now biting the tentacle that slammed me into the floor to the side. So I've rolled to the side of it, and I've bit onto the tentacle, and I've fallen down with this tentacle down to the floor.
Yep.
And I'm assuming after it smashes down through the floor, it thrashes back up, and it slingshots me out of the top of the building into some snowdrift in the middle of nowhere, and I'm face first, legs sticking out of the snow.
Oh my god!
And somehow biting into the tentacle.
Yeah, I've still got a piece of tentacle in my mouth.
It's cured your bad voice.
It's your meal for the evening.
That's brilliant.
It's cured your bad voice as well.
Yeah, so I used to sound like, "Hey guys," and now I sound like, "Oh, hello." How are you doing?
So I mean, it did change the world for you. It fixed your voice.
This device is going to change the world.
You're now repeating what all the guests have said.
Oh yeah, and
That's
also,
absolutely perfect.
I've got a massive throbbing vein on the top of my forehead.
Perfect. and how exactly did Joey survive his plummet to certain death?
Okay, so was the car? Was it a working car? Before I crashed into it.
I was about to say, give me a luck roll, but you don't have any
Yeah, I
luck
don't have
left.
any luck.
So let's say that it was a working car before someone landed on it and smashed it.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna crawl, my legs destroyed from the fall, slowly crawl and try to open the door to the car and just try and get the heating to turn on.
Oh yeah, and they're obviously enough of it there that you can get the engine running, and even if the car isn't mobile, you can keep yourself warm until morning.
Perfect. And then, so I can avoid any of these weird creatures, I'm going to open the boot and just sit in the boot.
So how did Ernie survive, and how does he keep Candace safe until morning?
What he does, because he's falling like a snowdrift, he turns into a makeshift igloo, and he crawls in there and takes her in there, and he like wraps it all around. And because obviously he has a crush and likes her, he takes off his jacket, wraps it around her to keep her warm, and then like gives her like a nice little thing to rest on. I mean, he's cold. He's going brrr, like as well, but he's not freezing cold, but it's like a little.
Well, I imagine he's way too drunk to feel the cold.
Yeah, he's way too drunk to feel it, but he's not drunk enough that he doesn't be a gentleman and try and comfort her, and like, as he wraps it around there, and he just slowly, in a weird, maybe mildly sexually way, just starts casually stroking her hair all the way down her back, and just does that. It's like and just repeatedly whispering in her ear, "Don't worry, darling, everything's going to be okay." And he does that all night.
Turns out Bernie's gone insane himself. not Bernie.
And finally, what happens with Dr. Novak?
Oh god. I just hide underneath the car with the warmth from the building keeping me warm.
Okay, well, kept warm by the burning of the building you set on fire.
Yeah. It's like, the trouble's over now. It's all gone. I'm a hero.
But the real question is, where the hell is Vermont? Whatever his name is, where the hell is he?
I've turned into a drunk, creepy weirdo.
and then in the morning, by the light of the dawn, vehicles begin to turn up, having been attracted by the great plumes of smoke rising up from the wreckage of the mount behind. And yes, I mean with that, the police are going to be able to take you off to safety. They're going to be able to take you off to hospital and get you checked out. Probably, a lot of you treated for broken bones and burns and hypothermia. And I'm sure you're going to have some interesting tales to tell them, about what happened at the Mount. Probably none of which bear any relation to the truth. But deep down, there may always be a bit of disappointment that Cicero's invention never actually got released to the wider world, because after all, it was going to change the world, But now it's not.
Probably.
Anyway, I think that is a good point to leave it. So
the first game plan survived.
Yeah.
That's another clap. That's a clap.
Thank you, Scott. That was really awesome.
Oh yeah. Best game yet, honestly.
Oh, fantastic! Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming on and do that game for us. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. I had an absolute blast running it, and yeah, I'm glad it went down well.
I'm glad. Yeah, me too. So, were we more chaotic than the How We Roll podcast? Did we beat the challenge?
They bring their own kind of chaos. So yeah. No, I think I've been running Pulp Cthulhu for How We Roll recently. The first episode should be coming out soon, but I've been running the Two-Headed Serpent, which is the campaign I co-wrote with Paul Fricker and Matt Sanderson. And yeah, they had a session last time